action taken this evening. We're going to start this evening's meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. That'll be led by our students from Lakeside Farms Elementary School.
All right, we have Jacob and Trevor from this is Eliza's class. Take it away, guys.
Put your right hand over your heart. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'll have Principal Jim Rosa come on up and give us an update on the school.
All right, good evening, community and school board members and our executive team here. We're going to highlight some things that are going on at Lakeside Farms, give you a snapshot of things we've worked on over the last couple of years, as well as what we're leaning towards in the next school year. So, without any further delay, we have.
Sorry, I want to mention the members of the public in the back. Members of the public out in the open area, please keep it down a little bit during presentations. Thank you.
All right, so we have our SPSA goal areas. We have our language arts goal, our math goal, our social emotional goal, our agriculture goal, our school involvement piece, and then also we're going to talk tonight about what we've done with our Prop 28 funds and our exposure to the arts at Lakeside Farms. So I want to start with a data drive here. So you can interpret data a lot of different ways. You can say data, you can say data. So potato, but what we're looking at here are groupings of students from last year's cohort of grade levels and then this year's cohort of grade levels. So it's broken down, the left-hand column has language arts, all students on our campus, and math. And 4 out of 6 areas have increased from last year's first graders to this year's first graders. So what that tells us is that something's happening, we're making adjustments to our students' needs and adapting as we go. What I'm most proud of on this chart is really that middle column. It's our students with disabilities, so students who have IEPs, and we have made tremendous growth in all areas from all grade level cohorts. So across every single grade level, our students have progressed. And I truly believe that that's a tribute directly to our staff. We've had the strongest staff in my time at Lakeside Farms within our special ed population, from our aides, from our classified staff, to our teachers, to our resource teachers, to our SDC teachers. We have a really cohesive group that work together to meet the needs of our students. And it's nice when it shows up in the data, because I see it, I feel it, I share it with team members when they come to our school, but it's really coming to fruition. So it's just exciting to see everything come together there. I also want to highlight our EL population. We have a smaller EL population, and we've struggled the last 4 or 5 years really to find gains within our language learners, but this year we found gains from last year. So if you look, for instance, in the right-hand column where it says reading EL, our second graders last year tested at a 148 RIT on the maps, and then this year they're at a 162. And then if you go diagonally, last year's second graders are this year's third graders. So they've gone from 148 to 170. So there's 2 ways to look at it. You look diagonally and you look across. So you're seeing just tremendous growth for those students with some higher level needs. We're really trying to focus our attention on them. So I'm just really proud of our team and what we've done to really prepare those students and really hopefully get them transitioned without needing full support with special ed, and also get our language learners passing the summative LPAC to be able to move on. So it's really exciting stuff. Those things couldn't be done without the additional resources that we have. So we have our learning loss mitigation teacher. I'm very excited that we're going to be able to continue that for 1 more year. There's 2 names listed there because we have 1 teacher who went out, and then Miss Angela Walker has continued that program with the support of our MTSS TOSA, Carrie Suggett, another great piece that we're able to bring back next year. These things really happen. Our special ed department has been supportive of some movement we've made to really doing our best to support kids in their gen ed setting. So that's a tribute to the program specialists that support our school. We couldn't do our social emotional piece without our school counselor. We're really lucky at Lakeside Farms with our high military population that we also have a military family life counselor who is on our campus about 4 days a week, and she supports those students whose parents are currently enlisted, they could be deployed. She helps students get prepared for a family member to deploy, and just as importantly, for a family member to come back. So we have a program Anchor for Life, which ties into that. So we really are working towards all these groups work together. And then on top of that, the last piece I want to mention with our resources is our Wellness Together program. That's for those high social emotional needs students, and we've seen a lot of growth and success with those students who are able to get that intensive one-on-one or sometimes small group support. So it's just really a great system that we've been able to build district-wide, and then this is how it's coming to fruition at Lakeside Farms. Exposure to the arts. So Prop 28 has given us the ability to give our students an additional boost in the arts. The direction we took at Lakeside Farms this past school year is to really boost up our art you see on the walls around in this room. We were able to purchase not only a lot of materials, but have a full-time classified person that comes in. We call her an art docent. She comes in and provides these lessons to students in the classroom with the teacher's support. So it's really been a great piece. Mandy Nelson's her name. She's very organized. She has her system, and she's able to get in classrooms about twice a month across our whole campus. So you see the progression around this room from TK through first, ending with fifth, just some samples of an art portfolio that all kids will have at the end of the school year. And we'll also be highlighting that at our school open house at the end of the month. So you'll see a little mini art show in our multi-purpose room during that. We continue to support students social-emotionally with You Belong. We greet students when they come to campus. They have a safety net of where they can go. Any high-flying, high-need students have adults that they can go see, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a campus student supervisor, could be a counselor, any adult on campus. We really try and get those students, really find somebody they're comfortable with. The question I ask is, who's an adult you can talk to? It doesn't have to be me, it doesn't have to be the teacher, but really connecting with someone and then make sure that that someone knows their name so that they can have that daily connection. I do a lot of my connections in the crosswalk before and after school where I can greet students, and I know if I don't check in with student X, then their day might be set off a little differently, or they're gonna come find me and say, Mr. Rosa, where were you? So it's a really great way to start the day, and it really ties in the community feel that we have. Our learning loss mitigation program, they've really been able to be intense with working through small groups and we show progress through DIBELS and formative assessments, and a lot of kids have graduated out of that program, so we've been able to even touch and give more students access to that throughout the school year. So the last couple of years we've had this has been our most successful year where we've been really committed that that person's not gonna substitute when needed. They're not gonna go cover another class. We're gonna keep these small groups going, and we've seen more kids progress out of that program because they've graduated and promoted out. Our saying is watch us grow at our school. We're talking about growth here, we're talking about academic growth and the whole child, the social emotional component. We keep to our traditions of a Friday flag where we can honor students and we can just have our weekly announcements and also really tie in the community. During a lot of our schools got to have the rodeo queens come out during our rodeo during April. So we got to do that during our Friday flag assembly. Next Friday we have a PTA sponsored BMX group coming out to do a little motivation as we are right in the middle of testing. So it's just a real community building time on our campus. And lastly, just want to talk about the Lakeside Farm experience. The goal that I have for our school and our community is equity amongst everybody. Equity in the classroom, giving exposure that if one student gets it, all students can get it and have access to it. So the students get what they need and when they need it. And to close out, I just wanted to highlight, if you come by Lakeside Farms, you'll see a beautiful mural. This is the draft on the left-hand side up there of what the mural is gonna be. It's very close. We had a parent, a community member who has done a phenomenal job, and our students are gonna help close it out. But it really captures our arts direction that we're trying to get back to as a school community. And it's just a neat way to highlight what's going on. We started it over spring break. I say we, I did not start it. I pretended to start it. But it's just been neat to see the progression because the kids are excited when they come and see what pieces are added, and it's super detailed. So it's pretty exciting. So with that, I have shirts for board members. I'm proud of our design. And it just says, says rooted in growth. That's what we're all about. So I'll leave it with that. Do we have any questions?
Any questions? No. Well, thank you for the shirt. Oh, you got it.
Is the mural painted or is it a tile? Like, what?
It is painted. That's one thing I do know. Yes, it's painted.
My last Lakeside Farm shirt is from Run for the Arts. A
Very
long time ago,
good.
so I'm glad to get a new one. I'm glad to get a new one. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're going to move right along to some special recognitions. We're going to be recognizing all of our employees of the year at this time. So if all of them, Ron and I'll go up to the front here and call your name, and then we'll take a picture and go from there. Okay? So, Ron, you tell us where you want to go.
She knows I'm blind.
And I'm just going to call them as I pull them, you guys, so, no, we're gonna end, if you don't mind.
I'm not going to
You're fine, Ross.
You go. You do it.
All right, I'm going to start with this one first, and this is Wei Yu Was, Teacher of the Year for Riverview. Somebody's outside.
No, we just checked.
You just check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, not there. Okay, Wei will be here tonight, so on her behalf, I'm going to accept this award. And then we have Alessandra Chavez, Employee of the Year for Riverview. I'll accept this one too. And I know this one is here, Lisa Ruiz, Employee of the Year.
Lisa, do me a favor, take your first off. Just that. Sure. Okay. And right here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Perfect.
And Teacher of the Year from Leeds, Jessica Stroman. Okay, right? Employee of the Year, Child Nutrition, Robin Estolfi. Teacher of the Year from Lakeside Farms, Ivy Lawler. Teacher of the Year from Lindale Park, Hannah Weir. We have to get a picture.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Great job.
Employee of the Year from Technology, Kenny Eaton. Teacher of the Year from Tierra del Sol, Johnny Nguyen. He's teaching somewhere. Employee of the Year from Lakeside Middle School, Scott Simmons.
go, beautiful. A little lower. There we go.
All right. Okay, Employee of the Year from Lindo Park, Noembi Brenda. Employee of the Year from Lemon Press, Frank Sandoval. Oh, there it is, I didn't see what was
Congratulations.
Oh, Mr. Frank, you are the bomb. Mr. Frank is an incredible designer, so this photo has to be perfect.
Oh,
Thank you. Wait, I gotta let my flash recharge. Hang on. I'm sorry, Mr. Frank, but.
Employee of the Year from Lee, Brianna Padilla. Congratulations. And this one's not here, but I'm going to announce those, Jake. And Teacher of the Year from the district office is Stephanie Jakes, but Employee of the Year from Lakeside Farms, Mr. David Ayers. Teacher of the Year from Dream.
Oh. Give me a hair flip. One.
Employee of the Year from Lakeview, Katie Powers.
My hair perfect. It's gonna be so annoying that hers is better than mine with the phone. We live with that. 1, 2.
Here from Lakeview Elementary, Patricia Smith. Some of them I can see good. Employee of the Year from Transportation, Mary Chappell. Teacher of the Year from Lakeside Middle School, Michelle Dobbin.
Okay, somebody looking at her star? Yeah, there we go.
Employee of the Year from Winter Gardens, Andrea Madden. Employee of the Year, I can't do this one. From the district office, Lisa Turner. She's retiring, so.
Please take your glasses off the top of your head. I know nobody will recognize you now. Okay, and the star looks great.
Teacher of the Year from Lemon Crest, Marjorie Mayen. How many times have you gotten teacher of the Year? She reminds me of that country song.
Have to step that way, all of you together. Just wanted to see if they'd do it.
And our Biliteracy Teacher of the Year, Cesar Cahill. Okay, and then out of all of these, we chose two, a Teacher of the Year to represent our district at the county level and an Employee of the Year. So our Employee of the Year is Kent Cable. And our Teacher of the Year is from Winter Gardens, American teacher, Lei Lee. Chosen by the County Office of Education to move forward in the competition. Wow. So it's 2020, so we're very proud.
And then look at the rest of them. Oh, man, oh, no.
Okay, if we wouldn't mind, somebody please opening the door for us so I can, the public can hear our announcement. Okay.
You're like, I just don't know.
Do you mind if I get a YouTube and do a picture? What?
Can I have the full board?
Yeah.
You guys
yeah. I mean,
Okay, and Cam and Sam as well. Come on. Great idea.
Draw the tears, you gotta do a picture.
Because it stops me.
And this one that come left to go to the shed to pack up. I called her and said, you know, you want me to come get you guys? And she said, no, but then she texted me right now and said, oh, I got went home and got dressed. I said, it's already over.
Okay. All right, folks. thank you for that, for gracing us in that transition here. We were honoring our employees of the year, so thank you for your patience. Okay, we're going to move on right now to trustee reports and comments, and then following that will be public comment. And so we will start our comments tonight with Trustee Bennett.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate everybody coming to voice their opinion tonight. I honestly wish that we had this kind of attention and commitment and input on other things, but we'll take this as a win in the fact that dialogue is always a great thing, and we do understand and recommend, or always recommend that you voice your opinion in things big and small here at Lakeside. So just tee it up with that. I would like to give a little bit of context and explanation of what is kind of happening tonight, and I think it's what's brought most of you here to voice your opinion. Tonight we'll be discussing and vote on resolution 2024-26. It's been known as the Parental Bill of Rights, but I think more accurately it's a resolution to ensure that parents have the knowledge that they are allowed information about their child's education. One of the guiding principles in how I look at issues that come before me as a board member is that all people have value and worth. All people deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, and not because of how they identify or how they look, but simply because we're made in the image of God. We're all created by a loving, kind, merciful, and just God who desires that we deeply know Him and we deeply love Him. This principle guides my decisions in life as well as on this board. I also believe that God has set up the family and parents to be responsible for guiding and directing their children in the way they should go. This is not the responsibility as me as a board member. It is not the school's responsibility. It is not the government's responsibility. When I was elected to the seat, one of the promises I made to those who elected me was to bring transparency to the parents and the community, as well as fight to make sure that parents understand their rights and to keep them informed of what was happening with their children while they are in school in our care. I do acknowledge that all parents are not good, and some parents do harm to their children. However, we do have systems and protections in place to deal with those situations. As board members, we have to look at the totality of the student population and to do what is right for all, not just a select group. We often adopt board policies and regulations that I may not agree with. The reality is that we have to adopt what the education code requires. There are a few instances where I may need additional clarification, or I may voice my opinion about things that I feel are not beneficial to the student or to the district. Sometimes this can be frustrating as we don't always agree with what comes out of Sacramento. Ultimately, we adopt them and we move forward. I cannot and will not change the policies that the state gives us to implement. So let me explain why I feel that this resolution is being proposed and why I will vote later. It is no more than a resolution. I think there's a lot of misconception that we are creating board policy or that we're creating regulations. It does not set a rule or go against any education code. A resolution does not change policy. It merely highlights the board's agreement or disagreement about something. It is simply a resolution to inform parents of their rights and to highlight that there are many things that are in the education code that parents may not agree with. It reminds parents and educators about the ability to have a dialogue and discuss plans with each other as to what is best for the child individually rather than as a collective. The parent can then decide how they would like to handle that situation. That involves curriculum, student privacy, exposure to age-appropriate reading material, sex education, bullying, and mental health of their children. It is not my intention to break laws. It is not my intention to wrap up the district's time and resources and money into litigation and lawsuits. It is my intention, however, to make sure that things are brought out of the darkness and into the light where they can be debated and discussed. Truth and knowledge always wins. My hope is that this evening you will understand my intentions and that your comments and opinions this evening will be guided by these intentions.
Thank you. Trustee Ellison.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you especially to those of you who are going to speak. I appreciate public comments so much because they help bridge the gap between our community and our district. I actively listen and take to heart what members of our community say, so thank you for taking your time to come and speak to us tonight. Before I dive into some other comments I want to make, I want to thank the parents of Riverview, the staff and parents, for putting together another amazing international fair. For those of you who haven't been, it's a really fun event. Students perform multicultural dances, and there are booths and games for students and families, and this year was no exception. I was also at the Lakeside Chamber of Commerce breakfast yesterday. The district office hosted, and so thank you to Lisa and all the people who put that together. We also had Supervisor Joel Anderson present the district with an official day. I don't know if somebody else is going to comment on that later, but it was
Yes.
Now let me turn to something a little bit more serious. I'm on this board for two reasons. One, to ensure that our Lakeside students receive a high quality education, and the other is to help keep our students safe. To achieve both of those, it's an all hands on deck scenario. High quality education is like a three-legged stool. One leg is the student, one leg is the teacher and other district staff, and the third leg is the parent, family, or guardian of that student. If one of those legs breaks, the stool falls over. As a parent, I have faced the issue of child mental health firsthand. It's not something I would wish on any parent or any child. Through this experience, I've learned from mental health teams that a child's mental health well-being is a lot like the three-legged stool that I just described. But in this case, it's the child, it's the healthcare team, and the family. If any of the legs breaks, that stool is going to fall. So a child can only have healthy mental health if there is the supportive family or caretakers at home. Okay? Otherwise, it just doesn't work. So any legislation that does not support the students' caretakers being involved in their mental health is not one that is best for our students. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Ellison. Trustee Casper.
Good evening. I too attended the review of the International Fair, and second year in a row, and it was so much fun. And I videotaped some of the kids dancing and all the cultural, and we are really one world, and hopefully the world will be a better place each day. Right now, in the Senate and on the desk of the governor of California are numerous anti-parent bills that you can veto or you can allow to pass. Now I urge you, even if you're not a parent, I urge you to go on the site, Sacramento, and look at these bills. I've looked at numerous, and I didn't want to take time and list them all, but it's really important to look at these, and it's going to be more important if they're passed. And I won't go into the bills, but I'd just like to say, first of all, thank you for coming out, all of you. I think that's great. You know, we have a teacher union to protect and to protect them to earn competitive wages, safe working environment, and other things that associations or unions do. And similarly, we have a classified staff that also has an association that protects them and their rights, pay scale, and have processes in place if there should be a problem and the steps they would take. Okay. And I respect those bodies because that's our partnership with the associations, and we interface with them a lot. However, crucial question arises: who represents our children and our parents? Children lack the rights that their parents possess for obviously safety reasons, so they don't have rights in the manner that we do. You know, they can't go into a liquor store and buy liquor legally. They can't go into a smoke shop and buy a vape device or tobacco. They can't vote. They can't engage in legal contracts, can't obtain a driver's license, run for political office. Even the president, you have to be 25, I believe. Yet the parents bring the children into this world and entrust them into our school district and our campuses every day, and we're honored. Parents expect the children to receive an incredible education, free of politicalization or indoctrination, with the best instruction that the teachers and staff can provide. Parents inherently possess the right to raise their children and have the authority over their decisions and lifestyles. Sending children to school is a partnership with parents and schools, not an agreement with the state or educational institutions that excludes parents from involvement. Parents should not be kept in the dark regarding their children's school experiences. Maintaining confidentiality between children's staff and school staff should not diminish the parental involvement. This is not about discrimination against children or anyone else or perceived potential threats. It is about empowering parents to play an active role in their children's education. If parents require assistance for questions or decisions their children may have, whether it might be sexuality, gender, mental health, behavior, or other issues, resources are available in our school district, as well as outside sources that they can be referred to. Informed parents are valuable assets to our district and should always be part of the equation. Returning to the question of who protects our children, who protects our parents, as a trustee, 2 years now, I firmly believe that I, as a trustee sitting before you, am a guardian of children and a sentinel for the parents and their rights. We are advocates for parental rights, ensuring full access to the children's school experiences with no information withheld. Thank you.
Vice President Hofer Moyer.
Well, thank you to my colleagues for the elegant work you guys had. I don't want to keep speaking to the same something. I am a parent of 4. And at times we have had amazing teachers. And at times we've had some not so great ones. But this district has done a great job so far, and I think we continue to have these conversations, and we continue to push forward in trying to be there for all of our students. And this is one more way that we can continue to do that, by listening to everyone, listening to our staff, listening to our students, listening to our community especially. Community is so big for us in our district. We have Western Days Week just recently where we had, an amazing rodeo experience where our entire community gets together to raise funds for our children here in Lakeside. We get to celebrate through a parade where all of our students and all of our community gets to participate and celebrate the wonderful small town that we are. So to me, this is the work that we need to continue to do. We need to continue to be transparent for everyone, for parents, for students, for everyone that is a member of our community. And that's, I think, the work that we continue to need to keep moving and move forward on.
brief comments before we hear from all of you. The first thing is we are really honored to have our own day in the County of San Diego. Supervisor Joel Anderson presented us with our own day, and so it was yesterday, so we've got to put this on the wall so that we always remember the great work that our district is doing, and I'm thankful for our supervisor and local leaders who recognize the great work of our staff and our teachers, so I'm grateful for all of those things. The other thing I want to just briefly address is the Lakeside Rodeo. We had a great rodeo this year, and for those of you who don't know, yes, it's worthy of applause. For those who don't know, our rodeo association gives back to our district more than any donor that we have in the community. They donate so many things to our kids, whether it be ukuleles for music, and the awesome thing about it is that the kids go and apply for the grant, they make presentations, and they earn the grant. I think that's a really important quality, and I thank the Rodeo Association for all their hard work. So thank you, and if you ever have a moment, just write them a thank you for all the good work they do for us. I mean, it's fantastic. Now to the more somber point of the evening, I want to thank you all for being here. I do want to address a couple things. You know, I was not elected, nor were any of us, to sit here and not ask questions about things that we may have questions about. The other thing is, I get questions all the time from parents in the district and around the community saying, Andrew, what are my rights? Or what are my options here? And what am I supposed to do when I look at this curriculum? Do I have a right to talk about it? And of course, all those things happen. And in fact, our district is very good about monitoring those processes. And what you'll notice about today's resolution that you'll see is that it directs staff to bring forward policies that connect to those principles of what we call parents' rights. And I think that's important because parents should know what their rights are. They should know what opportunities they have. They should know what their fundamental concerns should be. And we should be able to help them facilitate that process. That's our job. The other thing that I think is very, very important is when you don't agree with something, my constituents fully expect me to ask questions, whether it's coming from the state or whether it's coming from the local government. I am expected and demanded by my constituents to ask questions and voice my opinion, because that's what I'm elected to do. I'm not elected to be a rubber stamp for Sacramento all the time. You've got to ask questions. And I just want to show you why that's important. We have over 2,000 signed petitions from Lakeside residents supporting the resolution tonight. These are people that I represent, that we represent. So I think it's critically important for us to have these conversations, for us to delve into this policy and talk about the issues that are before us. Because if we don't discuss it, we're never going to find common ground. So I'm looking forward to all of your comments tonight. We'll move into that. We have many comments. So the first couple things I'd like to say about that is we generally have a standing bylaw that allows for only 20 minutes on one topic. I'm going, with the permission of the rest of the board, I'm going to waive that requirement tonight and then have everybody who's here to speak on this agenda item. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. So I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to share their thoughts with us. So if you haven't yet signed up, feel free to do so, but do feel free to sign up in a moment. We'll start. Lisa, who's our first speaker?
Can I ask you a question? Is it clear to everybody exactly what your resolution is?
You know, I cannot have a dialogue with you back and forth. This is a meeting of the board in public. So that's the next point, is during the public comment, we are not allowed to respond. And so I believe most folks do recognize the resolution. So I'll move to our first comment.
It is Nicole Thomas.
Nicole Thomas, thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and I am a resident of Lakeside. And thank you for allowing me to speak of my concerns over the Bill of Rights, parental Bill of Rights. When overlooking the document in the packet, I noticed that there are a lot of redundancies in terms of going over curriculum, regarding handing out medication. So I went through and I read through the policies. I know it was just very redundant. Specifically going over policy 1312.2 with concerns over curriculum. And there was a section regarding library materials based on age is already considered. I continued looking through, but the real reason I want to talk is for our LGBTQ kids. According to the CDC Trevor Project, in collaboration, many young people lack access to affirming places. 52% consider suicide. Only 52% consider the school to be a safe place. Of that percentage, 38 consider their home to be a safe place. Consistently, the Trevor Project finds that LGBTQ plus young people report lower suicide attempt rates when they have access to safe, affirming places. Only about a third of the folks have parents that are accepting. Please do not put their safety at risk. This board is sending out a message that school is another place that is not safe for them. And as a resident of Lakeside, I do request that you reconsider this.
Nancy Colbert.
While Nancy's coming up, I would like to ask members of the public who speak if you can do your absolute best to speak into the microphone. With this amount of folks, our acoustics aren't always as good, so I want to make sure everybody hears your comments.
I have 4 children, 2 of whom are in the LGBTQ plus community. When they came out to me, I was afraid for their emotional and physical safety. They are adults now and will not be directly affected by your actions, but I'm very concerned about the students you will harm with your parents' Bill of Rights. Most of the rights you mentioned are already in place, and so you're just reiterating laws that you're already required to follow. I believe that these are mentioned to distract from the real intent of this document. The board's core values claim, quote, "We are committed to acknowledging and celebrating the diversity within our community while affirming the importance of our common humanity," end quote. The Parents' Bill of Rights states, quote, "The number 1 priority of the Lakeside Union School District Board is to ensure the physical and mental health and safety of its students," end quote. You are not living up to those standards. Clearly, the true intent is to force the schools to out children to their parents before they are ready. The world is not always a safe place for LGBTQ plus individuals, and many of their homes are not safe either. Per the Trevor Project, research suggests that 1/3 of LGBTQ plus individuals experience parental rejection, and 1/3 don't disclose their LGBTQ plus identity until adulthood. The people who experience parental rejection are 8 times more likely to attempt suicide. I trust the educated professionals to determine what is developmentally appropriate for the students in their care. While I do think parents should be free to express their opinions appropriately, most are not well educated in areas of child development and childhood education. Groups of parents with their own agendas are pushing documents such as this, but they do not speak for most parents.
Christine Wood. Christine Wood.
I'm walking, boss, I'm walking. Okay, I'm not exactly sure when the 2 minutes begin, so let's just have at it, shall we? First of all, can you hear me okay? Yes. I've been told by several ex-spouses I don't need electronics to be heard, but I do want you to hear this. A certain member of this board had accused us earlier of really not having read the Parental Bill of Rights. So I laser etched it on what I have left of a brain. Okay, as a 67-year-old woman, I've seen this sort of thing before. As states and school boards rebelled against
the 1955 decision, Brown versus the Board of Education, which made school integration the law, the complaining states felt imposed upon. There's a couple words right out of your draft. Yeah, they felt that way too. And now we're 2 generations past that, and this is the new bell whistle. Keep me honest with my time, honey. I know I got 2 minutes. To go to your second point, whereas many of the state mandates require or allow principals, teachers, nurses, counselors, I don't need to go any further than that. Well, that's a half-truth anyway, since school boards have always followed state laws that were recommended by actual educators based upon peer review and professional competence. And any example of non-notification of a parent is absolutely, positively always been to protect the child. Come on, let's keep moving along, so a lot of people want to talk. Now, your parental bill of rights, which is so odd because I never see something called a parental bill of responsibilities. Like you're responsible to love that child you created. You're responsible to find common ground with that child you created. Because every day they get a minute and a day older, and they are going to become adults. Once again, parents have never been forbidden to communicate or make suggestions to school boards regarding subjects taught or materials used. No. Well, there you go. We're halfway there. But one quickie. Anybody that might be here to speak in vehement opposition to this, let's go ahead and raise your hand and let them know. There you go. See how you turn around and look. You got 2,000 petitions signed out of 40,000 residents of Lakeside. Go ahead and consider the basic math. Now, God bless you and thank you for your time.
Emily Okerlund.
I'm an employee of your district, and I spoke at a previous board meeting about my concerns surrounding the legal predicament that this so-called Bill of Rights would put all of us in. These concerns remain, but today I would like to touch on something more personal. Most of the items listed in this disingenuous proposal, as many have mentioned, are already district policy and practice, and many are protected by law and ed code. We as teachers and school staff believe in and practice transparency with our families. The only addition in this proposal is outing students to their families. This is wrong and it is dangerous. I myself am a gay woman and I came out of the closet in high school. School was my safe place and it was there where I first began to come out to friends. Home was not yet a safe place for me to be myself. When I eventually did come out to my parents, it was a very difficult journey. I struggled with depression and suicidal ideation, not because of who I am, but because of the world around me treating me as less than worthy because of it. I truly believe that if a policy like this existed when I was in school and a teacher had outed me before I was ready, that betrayal of trust would have pushed me over the edge. I do not think I would be here today. What happens when a student in Lakeside takes their life as a result of this bill? What happens if a parent harms their child after our district outs them to their family? Their blood would be on your hands. In my non-working hours, I volunteer as a facilitator for PFLAG, a support group for friends and family of LGBTQ+ youth. I see every month the strength, love, and resiliency of these families. I see their ability and willingness to grow in their support and love for their children. I see them do this on their own time. By inserting ourselves where we don't belong, we may likely do more harm than good in child-parent relationships. If we truly believe in parental autonomy and power, we will not overreach our role by inserting ourselves into family dynamics. Show our students that we respect them and that school is safe, and show our parents that we trust them. Thank you.
Marco Aguirre Mendoza.
Marco Aguirre Mendoza. Okay. Next.
Aaron, I don't want to, Aaron Gann.
Good evening, my name is Aaron Nun, pronounced he, they, and I'm here on behalf of the San Diego LGBT Community Center. We're here to show our support for LGBTQ plus students at this school district, and we oppose the Parent Bill of Rights. As the largest health and human services provider to the LGBTQ plus community in San Diego County, and one of San Diego's leading advocacy organizations for the LGBTQ plus community, we have seen that policies like the proposed Parent Bill of Rights only serve to further enable hate and harm in the everyday lives of youth. This bill claims that these measures are designed to protect the health, safety, and ensure the academic success of students, but the bill is a thinly veiled attempt to legitimize anti-LGBTQ bigotry, force young people out of the closet with no regard for their safety, and prevent young trans and non-binary students from accessing gender-affirming care. Forced outing policies don't make students safer, they actually put them at increased risk for harassment and harm. The forced outing of students puts them at risk of losing their faith communities, school communities, and home communities in an instant. Youth feel the impacts of this hate and social isolation, resulting in higher rates of suicide and substance abuse. 41% of young LGBTQ people seriously considered attempting suicide in 2023. 12% of all LGBTQ youth attempted suicide, more than 4 times as likely as their heterosexual peers. LGBTQ young people are not inherently at risk because of their sexual orientation or gender identity, but are placed at higher risk because of how they are mistreated and stigmatized. LGBTQ youth who found their school and home to be LGBTQ affirming reported lower rates of attempted suicide. We want to see our youth graduate, so we must protect their access to knowledge and not restrict it. To care for all students, including those who identify as LGBTQ, we must expand access to gender-affirming care and services, not violate student privacy, and prevent life-saving medical care. We implore you to protect LGBTQ youth and to not pass this. Thank you.
Christina Buffington. Yes.
Good evening, board members. I'm Christina Buffington. I'm a parent of a 6th grader at Lakeside Middle School. I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity to speak on what adoption of the Parents' Bill of Rights would mean for my family. With me this evening is my son, Drew, who graduated from Lakeside Middle School. He and his brother have attended district school since 2017. His father is a captain in the Navy, and I am a disabled veteran. He is unable to attend because he's on active duty, but he wants Drew to know he is very proud of him. The adoption of this parental bill of rights means there's no right to student self-expression, which is their right. My son, Drew, is a trans boy. Let me be clear, do not impugn the honor of the teachers of this district for my son being trans. Being trans is immutable. Once your child meets another gay student, they'll know. Drew is a smart boy with gay friends in this school district. A school board cannot parent bill of rights away gay kids. What this board is attempting to do is take away a place where a child can feel safe in an unsafe home. If a child tells their teacher something scary is happening at home and they need help, it is because we have incredible teachers in this district who earn the trust of vulnerable students. They are on the front lines when that scary something is mom's boyfriend, or an uncle, or dad. This board is mandating the government to tattle to the person their child may fear most of all. I fear that's the point, that there's nowhere safe in the schools for a trans boy. I am grateful to the teachers that called Drew by his name. His name is Drew, and he is the son of 2 honorable naval officers, and he is Lakeside.
Casey Bishop.
Thank you so much for your time tonight. It's good to see my colleagues. My name is Kate Bishop. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I am a school board member at Chula Vista Elementary School District. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of myself as a parent and as a school board member, but not on behalf of my district. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the parents that are here tonight. We might differ in the way that we approach things, but the reason we're all here is because we care about children. And we have that in common, and we should start there in our discussions. That's one thing I really want to start with. You hit upon some things in your opening remarks that I just want to circle back to. One thing that's important that we're really bringing out, and as was mentioned before, I feel like I don't need to retread, a lot of the things on this list are just, as you say, things that you want to let parents know are their rights, and that's fine. The things within this that are concerning to the people that are here with me tonight are the things that specifically address LGBTQ students, and specifically suicidal intent and sexual transitioning. Those things are things that are very much from the LGBTQ community, right? The sexual transitioning part especially. When we're talking about a child that is LGBTQ, the Trevor Project came out with a statistic that children that are LGBTQ are 70% less likely to attempt suicide if they have one affirming adult in their life. One affirming adult takes down suicide by 70%. When their parents are not affirming them at home, they rely on their teachers and they rely on their staff members. School has to be a safe place for them. Is that my time? That's okay. Thanks so much for your time.
Katie.
I'm sorry?
You can finish that last sentence if you'd like.
I was just saying that it has to be a safe place for them, and when home is not, the rules that we make are not to protect the people that are good parents, that are great affirming parents. It's about protecting the kids from the ones that are not affirming. The laws about speeding are not for the people that drive 65. They're the people that endanger other people's lives. So these rules are important in order to protect the kids that are in danger. We don't need to protect from these wonderful parents that are here today. It's the parents that are not here, that are not supportive of their children. Thank you so much.
Jenny Veloso.
Generally,
Hi. So I didn't write these words. I am speaking on behalf of a parent that couldn't be here today, but I do agree with them. So I'm here to obviously oppose the Parent Bill of Rights that's supposed to be voted on. As a mother of a student in Lakeside, well, multiple students actually, I would hope that they feel safe at school. If one of my children may or may not be gay or straight or questioning of their gender, and they, for some reason, might not be ready to tell me, even though I hope that I'm creating a household where they do feel like they can tell me, I hope that they can find an adult that they can confide in. And usually that's at school. Usually it's a teacher that they trust, a staff member that they trust. And I would hope that that staff member would help my child navigate that world if they're not sure how they can tell me. But those are just my own words. The Student Bill of Rights, or the Parents' Bill of Rights, does nothing to help students, staff, or classrooms. It has nothing to do with education and everything to do with politics. All of the provisions of this policy that are legal are already in place. Forced outing policies of gay or trans students is illegal and will not only be destructive to our students in classrooms, but will also incur great financial liability for our district As we've seen in other districts that have passed similar bills to this, they're getting sued and spending district money on lawsuits. As a taxpayer, this is deeply upsetting. You are supposed to spend my tax dollars educating our children, not defending yourself against avoidable lawsuits that you are going to lose. If you vote for this policy, you are abandoning your values as fiscal conservatives to play in the political sandbox of the day. She also recommended other things that we could be spending our money on instead of potential lawsuits that will likely come if this bill passes. We've already seen it happening in other districts in California, so thank you.
Augustin Perez. Maybe I'm saying.
What was the name?
Augustin.
Augustin Perez, is that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Augustin Perez. Okay, next speaker.
Kathy Mullen.
Kathy isn't here today, but she asked me to speak on her behalf. My name is Alex Westner.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll tell a story that Kathy tells. That, trans kids often, find somebody affirming at school and kind of practice coming out to them before they come out to their parents. And if you're affirming, they come out. My wife and I volunteer for Trans Family Support Services. We lead a support group for parents of trans teens. And basically, I think we've probably helped, 300 families at this point. All of those families, their kids came out to them eventually, whether they came out to their school first or not, they came out to their parents eventually because their parents were affirming. And I fully believe what some others have said, that forcibly outing kids to non-accepting parents puts those kids in danger. Studies again showed 10 to 40% of homeless youth are in the LGBTQIA community, and so they can be put at risk. And again, a policy that aims to protect children, I think this kind of forced outing does the exact opposite, and so I would oppose this measure. Thank you.
Joe Shea.
Hello, thanks for having us here. My name is Joe Shea. I've been a teacher and, more importantly, a father for more than 30 years. As other people have said, almost all of the Parents' Bill of Rights is comprised of rights that parents already have, which is probably by design to hide the new restrictions. I'd like to highlight one quote. Notification of official or unofficial district actions related to bullying, suicidal intent, sexual transitioning, academic achievement. 3 of these are well defined and already are reported to parents. But who decides what is an unofficial action related to sexual transitioning? Many students prefer to use a nickname at school. If a student named Roberta goes by Bobby or Bob, is that an act of unofficial sexual transitioning? How about using they or them if a student prefers? It seems clear to me as a teacher that the point of these restrictions is to make students afraid that any comment or question they make to a staff member will be reported to their parents. Anyone who's been to a youth sporting event and heard comments from the onlookers know that some parents are more attuned to their own needs than to the well-being of their children. But even with kind and supporting parents, as said before, probably most of the ones here, there are times when a student wants to decide what thoughts and questions they share with their parents. So when it becomes clear that staff at school are not safe to talk to, where will students go to discuss ideas they are not ready to share with their parents? The schoolyard kids and the internet? Are those really safer places than the sympathetic ear of a teacher? School should be a place to protect the interests of the students, not to bow to the anxiety of a few parents. Thank you.
Beth Shea.
Thank you for your time today. I would like to open by saying that nothing is more important to me than the safety of our youth,
The emotional, mental, and physical well-being of our next generation is a matter of great seriousness to me. I am standing here determined to keep our students safe, and I'm hopeful that all of you in the same room honor this goal, and from what I've seen today, you all do. Having trusted adults besides family in a child's life is one of the most important tools we can give them. These adults can act as mentor figures to students and often keep them safe. Often children turn to trusted adults when they go through abuse or assault, and usually teachers are the ones that fill that role. There are many reasons, as people have said, why students might not be ready to talk to their parents or guardians about gender or romantic identity. As a lot of people have said, there is a higher rate of suicide when youths are exposed to forced outings. And one statistic I would really like to highlight is from the National Survey of Midlife Development in the United States that reports that the emotional and physical abuse rates are much higher in non-heterosexual youths, and 320 to 400,000 LGBT youths experience homelessness every year. I asked my friend who is transgender why he didn't come out to his mother until early high school. He told me about his careful calculations in order to feel safe, and also what I have seen, which is that the support of his mother when both of them were ready and not a moment sooner made all the difference in his mental health. He said the support he got from teachers greatly impacted his life. Quote, having teachers I trusted to not only accept me, but also protect me was a huge factor of what got me through high school. I would have never been able to support myself without wonderful teachers backing me up. The teachers that had my back during my transition are the reason I want to be a teacher myself. That's the end of his quote. To turn away trusted adults from kids' lives is to deprive them of autonomy, but not in the way many people fear. Contrary to popular belief, the taking or application of permanent hormone replacement therapy cannot bypass parental consent. To gain access to hormone replacement therapy, you must be 18 years or older. Even with parental consent, the lowest age is 16. This boogeyman idea of 9-year-olds with hormone replacements being cut up into lifelong hospital patients is just that, a boogeyman, and all it does is create a hostile environment. I ask you to think of the precedent you are setting here today. Will it be one of safety and encouragement as students struggle to find their footing in life, or will it be children scared with no one left to trust in their corner? Thank you.
Prior to the next speaker, I noticed that because there's a lot of folks here, which is fantastic, some people who want to speak may not be able to get to the comment card. So if you are one of those individuals, please raise your hand so that we can get you a card. Okay, maybe not. I just want to make sure. All right, next speaker.
Next speaker is Robin Rendon.
Hi, my name is Robin Rendon, and I'm here as the parent of a 17-year-old trans boy who does not have his father's support. And about a year ago, Nico attempted suicide and was hospitalized, but then they found out that he hadn't been eating because he's also anorexic as well. And so he had to be in the hospital for a good 2 months while he got healthier and healthier. And that was the second time for being in the hospital for anorexia and attempted suicide. So I'm here because I'm asking you for your support, that when these children have a trusted adult, when they don't have that trusted adult, this is the kind of thing that happens. And all I can do right now is be Nico, one of Nico's trusted adults. And I don't live with him, but I'm the second person that got the wristband to go visit him when he was in the hospital for attempted suicide. So thank you for allowing us to speak.
Teresa McCormick. Is that Teresa McCullough? No, she's behind.
Hi everybody, I think most people have said what I came here to say as well. I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet. We have a ton of people want to talk here. The first point I want to bring up is that, it's just reiterating what everybody else is saying, the good parents who are here, the ones who have told their kids since they're born, I love you forever, aren't the ones who are going to go beat their kids or disown them. We don't need to send the kids to the wolves. I'm just like you guys. I'm straight. My kids are straight, whatever.
It doesn't really bother me firsthand, except that all the kids matter. I don't want to see my kids' friends commit suicide. And obviously we don't want to play fast and loose with our budget. I know that this can't be played out. It's been said to many community members that we cannot actually follow through on a lot of these. So I'm not sure why they're here if we can't follow through on them. But if we're trying to step toward following through on them, we could incur lawsuits, and that's going to come straight out of the budget from the programs that our kids enjoy and love. This is a great district. Our kids have so many wonderful programs here, and just for us to frivolously put this out here, we're just informing people of rights that they have, and yet they also don't have. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Most of the parents that read this over with me already knew that most of these were already well carried out, like they're already instituted well by our schools. I, as a parent, get weekly emails. All of these, I'm informed of all of these already. I know that my kid can opt out of sex ed. I know what date it's going to occur. All these are already here, except for the ones that specifically discriminate against LGBTQ kids. And there's just no reason for that. Those who need to foster that relationship would have started already. It's a little late too now. Oh, okay. Starting at the middle school level to start telling your kid you love them unconditionally is a little bit late. Thanks.
Jennifer Broma.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Broma, and I'm a teacher, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a teacher at the Santana High School, and I'm also one of the GSA advisors at Santana High School. GSA, for those that don't know the term, is a Gender Sexuality Alliance. I actually had my club meeting today, and this meeting was a topic of conversation amongst my high school students, some of which are Lakeside residents and actually quite close to being voters in Lakeside. They had several concerns, but they couldn't make it tonight because it's AP season, and they have AP tests tomorrow. I know a lot of what I have written has already been said, so I just want to highlight a few things. One of which is, despite that several school boards have implemented forced outing policies in their districts, it resulted in an alert from the Attorney General. The Office of the California Attorney General issues the legal alert to remind all school boards that forced gender identity disclosure policies, which target transgender and gender nonconforming students by mandating that school personnel disclose a student's gender identity or gender nonconformity to a parent or guardian without the student's express consent, violates state law. I don't know about your school district, but I know that we're waiting the May revise, and I think budgets are going to be tight. Why does Lakeside want to jump into this and spend money on potential lawsuits when I'm sure you have so many other things that you could spend money on that would benefit the kids? I know there were already comments on the suicide rates. I just wanted to highlight, I know somebody said it, but when students have one affirming adult in their life, it cuts their suicide rate by half or more. And that person can be a teacher. It's a practice sometimes. Kids want to have a low-risk person that they can come out to practice and see the response. And one affirming adult cuts the risk of suicide. I think that that's worth having for our students. There's a lot more, but thank you.
Jennifer Thorpe.
Woo.
Hi, Andrew. My name is Jennifer Thorpe, and this has been a long time coming. I can't express how good it feels to know the culmination of all of our school board meeting encounters has definitely paid off in our favor. Thank you, Andrew, for being the squeaky wheel. Thank you for not taking everything you say very personal. And mostly, thank you for being a trustee to our children. I remember meeting with you for coffee a few years back, and you said to me, all the stuff that you're opposing is coming down the pike, you know that. I said to you, and I will say it again, if the implementation of the state's new rules and regulations infringes on my kid's ability to learn or in his social interactions, then leave him out of it. I meant it. California had something different in mind, but at this moment and with this resolution, it allows us as parents to continue to protect them as we see fit. That's what this is about. It's not about anti-anything. I'm not sure how parents wanting to keep autonomy over their kids became anti-anything. This resolution sends a clear message that the most sacred of all relationships in a kid's life will be honored at school and by its faculty. It is not disguised as anything. It is clear that the liberties that have been taken for too long with regard to accessing our children, in fact, that any entity is concerned that their right to access our children is being infringed on, make the case for this resolution to be voted on and passed. Lakeside Union will be on the right side for fostering healthy relationships with students and parents, along with 25 other states in our union. Thanks.
Anna Massey.
Hello, hi, I'm Anna, and I want to first say that my mother was on a school board for many years. I'm a teacher, I have a kindergartner, so I share a lot of roles and a really deep appreciation for the gift of the leadership that you're engaging with. And I also feel very strongly that we share the same values, that we all are here because we invest in our children's safety and their protection. And in doing so, it means that we must all grapple with a very hard truth, which is that not every family is a safe space, is actually good to their children. It's a devastating truth that we all know because we live in the real world. And so if we're going to grapple with this truth, then we need to also have our laws, our policies recognize this. So I ask, or rather I insist, that you vote down this resolution, that you recognize that the right to privacy is in fact a right to protection, and that it's essential. You have heard so many true statistics tonight that aren't just numbers, they're people, they're dead children, and that we have a responsibility to look out for the children in our community by voting down this resolution. Lastly, I want to say that this is a hard night for a lot of queer people, and to all the people who are queer, allies in this space, I want to say that I see you, I'm with you, and we're not alone, and we're here, and we're queer, and we're not going anywhere. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chrissy. I'm a mother of 4, and I just want to thank the board for putting up this resolution. I think that we've heard a lot of statistics today that one affirming adult would benefit a child's life. And I think that discriminating against East County families as that one person couldn't be a parent is very hard for me to hear. I think that really lowers expectations for the love and the bonds that the families in East County have. We love all of our children no matter what. And I think that you would find that in most households, and if you don't, you're a mandated reporter. I also think that there's never been a time in history where we see government overreach and government employees being a better option than parents unless there is a clear sign of abuse. And teachers, although they are well valued and wonderful mentors to many children, they are government employees. That doesn't replace the bond that parents have with their children. And I really appreciate this because if our children are struggling, whether that's with anything that's been mentioned today, I know it's been a focus on gender and sexuality, but I believe that any kind of suicidal thoughts or needs for medicine, that parents and having family support is crucial. When we have an IEP meeting, we start with a student support team. That always includes a parent. Why would we change that for any subdivision of mental health? It just doesn't make sense. Parents deserve a right to be a part of the discussion, as well as when they're older, the children. And I think that by passing this, you will help encapsulate what it means to be a good family and allowing parents to parent their children. Mother knows best. And I think that when you have children who are struggling, parents want you see it here. There's so many parents here that love their children, and it doesn't matter where they come from, East County included. Thank you.
Carrie Strong. So I put in the top the curriculum thing. That's going to take like 2 minutes. Can I use the other 2 minutes to talk on this other topic?
What's the question, Gary?
So I put in to talk about a different topic than this, but if I only use 2 minutes on my other topic, can I use 2 minutes on this topic?
No,
Do you want me to talk about the other topic then?
I would-
Yeah, that's fine.
I think-
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I think.
Because I get 4 minutes on the other topic, so that's why I'm not gonna take 4 minutes on the other topic.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not gonna cede time, so if you want 4 minutes on that other topic, you're welcome to have 4 minutes on the other topic. And then let me just have you re-put your name in for this topic at 2 minutes.
Okay. I am talking at this moment about the curriculum adoption that is on our agenda tonight. So I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. I wanted to comment about this just because it's a really heavy lift to adopt curriculum in a school district, in any school district, and especially one of our size. We're smaller, so we have less people, and our people who are here wear multiple hats. And so we have really very robust policy in Lakeside for adopting our curriculum. And just because I think 3/5 of you on the board might not have been through a curriculum adoption with our school district before, I want to break that down really quick for you because it started, I think, before some of you were elected. It's been going on for a 2-year process right now. And so when we have any curriculum adoption, whatever content area it happens to be, we look to our ed code for guiding that process. The State Board of Education has a really lengthy and prescribed vetting process to compile a list of the state adopted curriculum options, and there's usually multiple options in each content area. Then your school district looks at whatever content area they're adopting, they select a few of the curriculum options from that area, and they bring it to their district to usually then do some testing, comparing, and contrasting. In Lakeside, what that looks like is we have a committee that is put together with educators that are responsible for teaching whatever content area we're adopting. We have a school board member or 2 on that committee. I think it was Dawn previously, and I think it was Autumn this time around, this year. And then we also have administrators and even students. And so we have a very robust process, and that is all required by state law that we have that process. Lakeside goes a little bit above and beyond now. It used to be required, it's not as strict anymore, but we also put all of the adopted curriculum that we are considering, we make it available for our community to preview during the whole adoption process, as well as submit comments to the board and to the administrators in that process. So if the district looks at this adoptable list and thinks, oh, we don't really like these options on here, the ed code also permits districts to either select their own choices, but they still do have to follow the adoption process, and it has to meet all of the requirements that are in ed code, including ed code 202 that requires inclusive curriculum that's up to date and effective for the content area. So in Lakeside, we use a really strong process, like I said, with that. We include all of our stakeholders in this process. And I mention this because it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I really appreciate the hard work that our teachers and our administrators have put in on that committee throughout this 2-year process.
It's a lot of work. It's reading the curriculum, it's testing out the lessons, it's looking at the technology components to see if it's kid-friendly, to see if it works, because some of it doesn't. And it's a big process. And so that's how that piece of curriculum got onto your agenda tonight. It's been through that whole process, and now that committee was able to come together and say, yay, nay, these are the ones that we want to send forward, and they were able to come to a compromise and an agreement, because there's always varying opinions, because educators are very passionate about our curriculum, but they came to agreement, and then they presented that to the school board. So that's how that piece of content got onto your agenda tonight. It's been a long process, and I just wanted to thank everyone involved in that process. So, thank you.
Ellie, I'm not sure the last name.
Does it start with a K?
Yes, it does.
Okay. It's very Melanesian. There's too many vowels. All right. All right. What's the limit? 2? Okay. It's very charitable given how many people are speaking to you tonight. Good evening, parents, community members, trustees, teachers, classified, and admin who may be present. My name is Eli, and I am on the Civil Review Board for Cajon Valley Unified School District, or Union School District, sorry. The Civil Review Board strives to connect families with their children's education by holding the school board and administrators accountable to the parents and the community of the children that they serve, or the children that they have been entrusted with by those parents. Really quickly, I want to ask the room, actually first I'll ask the dais, how many have read the Parents' Bill of Rights? Everyone should be raising their hand, I hope. It's not a long document. Okay, I've noticed one person did not raise their hand. Thank you for your hands. How about in the audience? How many of you have read the Parents' Bill of Rights? Okay, so it's a fairly simple document. I remember hearing just a few minutes ago that most of the items, if not all of them, are very doable and very agreeable. That goes to the namesake of this document, the actual Bill of Rights. Now, it's a nickname, but when the Bill of Rights was adopted, a lot of the legislature thought, oh, this isn't necessary. We know we already have these rights. Well, guess what? I'm sure glad we have the Bill of Rights today, because if it wasn't for the First Amendment, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So please, this is a no-brainer, guys. Don't listen to all this pressure. Don't cave into pressure. Do the right thing. Thank you.
David Burton.
And as David Burton, as David is making his way up, I would like to remind our commenters this evening that when speaking to the board, you are speaking to the board, please. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm David Burton. I represent East County Citizens Oversight. By my age, I've got more invested here than most people. I'm a product of East County School District, and I want to thank every board member on this board for running and representing the people of this room, this district. We're a representative republic in this country. We've got the finest country the world's ever known. And we owe you a gratitude of thanks for representing us on this board and protecting our students. This institution exists to educate and keep the children safe. And lack of transparency will never be the answer. Transparency is the key to everything in life. I don't care what it is, it's transparency. It's when you hide and you keep secrets from parents, from citizens, that's when the problems begin. So there's no way I can address all of the stuff that people have these grievances for. It's a small percentage, it's a loud percentage of the population, but everybody has a right. We have a constitution. This is our guidebook for this country. And everybody has constitutional rights, everybody has protected human rights, and nobody's trying to take anybody's rights away, but especially the parents. If you believe in biology, you believe that the parents are responsible for creating that child. So I think that parents' protection rights is well deserved, and I applaud you for bringing it forward and putting it on the table. Thank you.
Mary Davis.
Hi, Mary Davis. Good evening. First of all, thank you everybody for being here, for engaging robustly with the government, and for civil discourse tonight. I would like to remind everybody that family is actually the first form of government. That's where we learn rules and authority, and and you are essentially governed. So just like government, though, some are models and for best practices and gold standards, and others are sadly dysfunctional. So that begs the question then, which premise do we operate under? An assumption of guilt or an assumption of trust? The vast majority of parents are loving and caring and put the needs of their children first and foremost. So I choose to operate under, and I also encourage the board to operate under, a premise of trust, just as we do for our teachers. There are already safety nets in place for at-risk kids, but how I wish I could say the same for parents. Sadly, that is not the case. One of the scariest things that I've ever seen in the realm of the public arena and education was in Temecula, a 20-year veteran teacher saying that he would report unaffirming parents to CPS before he would ever comply with a proposed parental Bill of Rights policy. So I would encourage you to adopt that tonight. And lastly, for the fear-mongering about litigation, I believe that's a red herring argument. Banta's attorney, Soiche, just announced a couple days ago, declared in court that they were more guidelines than actually enforceable rules. So please do not be intimidated by threats of lawsuit. Do what's right for the parents and enforce protections for them. Thank you.
Aaron, I think maybe he already spoke. N-G-A-N? He did, okay. Okay, Karen Hoffman.
I just stand up here so that. My name is Karen Hoffman, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm here tonight as the co-chair of GLSEN San Diego. GLSEN is a national organization here in San Diego. We have a very robust chapter, and we're doing everything we can to provide support and affirmation for the LGBTQIA+ community, especially young people. And I wanted to come here tonight to tell you a little bit about how I got involved and why, as an ally, a straight female, why I would do so much volunteering with this organization. When I was a high school counselor, I had a student come to me, several students actually, about a bullying incident. 2 girls were thought to be gay, and they were having things thrown at them. And in the process, a young man who was nearby also got something thrown at them. And they came to me and they said, you know, what can we do about this? This is wrong. We shouldn't be accused of anything. We should be free to be who we are. And I agreed. They later formed a club on campus, a GSA, and you heard already another speaker talk about how those clubs still exist on our campuses and they're growing, and they're there to support students. I was one of those affirming adults on campus that they came to share what had happened to them. And I can tell you that all of those students that came to me that day are alive and well and flourishing, making incredible contributions to our community as adults. They didn't turn up as a statistic, as a suicide. And I want to see more kids have that opportunity. So I'm here to speak against adopting this proposal. And I think that if you look carefully at it, it didn't originate here in California. It perhaps originated in a state that didn't have the protection that we have. Pronoun protection has existed for almost 10 years in California. And I mean, most of our kids that have that respected at school are thriving. So I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and thank you very much for the dialogue, and to everyone who is here today to engage in it.
Hi, thanks for hearing everybody tonight. I'm the parent of a trans kid. My kid came out 6 years ago as a trans female. Sorry, I get very emotional about it because it is an emotional thing. When your kid comes out to you, contrary to what a lot of people believe, it's not an easy thing to go through. I've always been a supporter of the LGBTQ community, having lots of friends in my early 20s. I was not prepared for my kid to come out as a transgender male. It was really hard for me. I have a really amazing husband, and he was there, and he supported our family, and he told me that I need to get on board with this and just accept my child for who they are. My husband and I volunteer for an organization called Trans Family Support Services, and we run a support group for parents of trans teens twice a month on Zoom. Parents that come out, or that have children that come out as trans, most of the time it's really, it rocks your world. It's not an easy thing. It's not what you had that wasn't your plan. I had 2 biological daughters. Now I have a trans son and a daughter. So it was really hard. My kid's been out for 6 years. My kid is 18 years old and is a non-binary person. I worry about my kid. There's so much hate around this because of politics, and religion is another thing that's kind of pushing a narrative against the trans community, and it's upsetting to me because I want my kid to live, I want my kid to survive, I want my kid to thrive. And we've all talked about how one affirming parent or a parent, adult, that's all it takes for these kids to feel loved and supported. And that's what we want. And if you're outing kids at school, it makes it very dangerous for them. And not every kid has a loving family that's gonna love and support them. And it's super important for these children to have a safe adult to go to. So thank you very much for hearing me.
Bianca Stanley.
I'm going to keep it very short because I do not miss this podium. This bill is my voice for me to help protect my child. It's not your child, it's my child. I'm here to express my support for the Parent Bill of Rights and to remind every single person in this room that safe adults do not keep secrets.
Shannon Camper.
My name is Shannon, and I am here today to address the board as a resident of East County, an ally, and a certified Title IX compliance officer. You all are voting on a parental rights policy or resolution that not only is against the law, but puts a certain group of students at risk, that risk being death. I know you all know this, and yet you sit up here and say your number one priority as a school board is to ensure the physical and mental well-being of its students. That means all students, not just the ones you personally believe matter. Your personal beliefs have no place on this board. As an elected school board member of the state of California, your role and responsibilities are, and I quote, to ensure that the school districts are responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of the communities and provide community leadership as advocates for children, the school district, and public schools. LGBTQ students are a part of those students you are elected to advocate for, whether you like that or not. Your job as a school board member is to make schools a safe and well-educated environment, not one where students feel like there's a target on their backs. Parents have always had these rights that certain groups are falsely saying don't exist. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, has existed since 1974 and is available for you to read. As a parent of a child in public school, you can review curriculum and opt your child out of any part you wish, including sex education, review and monitor all reading material, books, videos, textbooks, tour your child's school and inspect bathroom facilities, participate in counseling meetings for IEP, behavioral issues, career counseling, and you will be notified of all bullying, suicidal intent, and academic achievement, as it is required by law for a parent to be notified if their child is suicidal. You have never been denied the right to access to your child's education and mental well-being. That is your responsibility as a parent. If your child does not feel safe in expressing certain views, that's an issue outside of the school's rights and responsibilities. This is not a parental rights policy. This is a trans outing policy. This policy harms every single student by unfairly taking away funds to pay for frivolous lawsuits that would otherwise be better used to improve education. Thank you.
Patty Heyman.
Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to begin by saying I've had 4 children, they're grown adults now, who went through the Lakeside Union School District. And I'm grateful for the education they got here. I also am a grandmother of 14, and 2 of my grandchildren are now in Lakeside schools. I believe that the schools need to trust the parents, because the parents are given the child by God. They are entrusted with that child to raise that child in the best way that they see fit, and that parents, when they send their children to school, expect that they can trust the school, that the school is not going to try to indoctrinate them or try to confuse them. And I speak especially for young children. Young children are innocent. They do not need to be confused or propagandized about sex when they often do not even know what that is. Young children need to be protected. Their innocence needs to be protected, and they need to be treated as the treasure that they are. Every child should be treated with respect. And as a former teacher of over 40 years, I taught for over 40 years in the public school, I always believed that the parents were the first teachers, and that the teachers did best when they included the parents and respected the parents. Thank you.
I'm short, so this move. Hey there. Thank you, board. I appreciate that you guys have brought this about, and I fully support it. As a mother of a special education, 2 children in special education, one who was about 3 years ago violated by one of her teacher's children, and ultimately led to her going missing and being sex trafficked for 5 days. There were a lot of secrets kept. So when we talk about not keeping secrets, we actually had the teacher who was the parent of the child who perpetrated my child, my special needs daughter, who again ultimately ended up missing for 5 days and being sex trafficked. So I firmly believe that this parental bill of rights is appropriate. I firmly believe that keeping secrets from parents is so wrong. And it took a almost 2 year, 18-month long external investigation that my husband and I had to fight vehemently for to get to the bottom of what happened. And the results of that investigation are so alarming as to the secrets and the wagons that get circled in these types of events. There are so many layers and there are so many things I can speak to. My husband and I have taken in 162 foster children in 17 years. We are very familiar with children who are suffering in their homes and who require being removed from their homes, from them not being safe. If these children are not feeling safe at home, teachers are mandated reporters. Report it. Do not keep secrets from parents. If you truly are concerned about these kids, you have an obligation to report it. You're mandated. Do it. And then people like myself and my husband will protect them. We also started an organization out of our tragedy where we locate missing and recovered children. We have recovered trans children. We have recovered black children, white children, gay children, all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, all of it. We do not discriminate. For us, this is not about that. This is about children's safety. And again, if the home is not safe, you are a mandated reporter. Report it accordingly.
Schreiber?
I have to follow her.
You'll do great. Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Good evening, board members. I really appreciate the comments that you had tonight for us in regards to this. Thank you so much. I come before you this evening in support of the efforts to stand united with parents and to ensure that the partnerships they have with teachers and school officials is not breached. That partnership is vital to the success of the families and the students, and to breach that in any way is unconscionable. I commend you and the staff for bringing forth a document that reiterates the board policies and regulations that directly impact the parent's right to proper and thorough notification in all matters that pertain to the student. Such a concept, both biblically and morally, that parents are the protectors and overseers of their children's education, safety, and welfare, and not the government's. It's a crazy world we live in. Just by introducing a Bill of Rights, which is not illegal, we've had it vetted by attorneys. We have attorneys standing by that will perform pro bono service to this district. This district has received a letter in regards to that, also with the Cone Valley School District. This emphasizes the importance of the parent's right to know within board policy. So the only thing that's questionable or up for debate is maybe the one that's being brought up tonight. Again, the secrets you cannot have secrets with your partnership with your teachers and your parents. Why would you do that? It is my hope that the statements enshrined in this Parent Bill of Rights resolution will be cross-referenced in footnotes of each and every board policy and administrative regulation cited in the Bill of Rights. Put teeth to it when you're governing. Don't put this resolution on the back burner. This is important to remind the parents in this district that you stand with them and then you support the parents' rights to be notified. I see where parents are not notified as far as curriculum. They're not on committees. They're completely disengaged from the district, and that's wrong, and that's got to stop. Thank you for exercising your local control as our elected board members and representing these values. Thank you.
Susan Roberts, you put no speaking. Did you want to speak?
Susan Roberts.
Oh. It says no speaking. I don't know. Tyler Weekly.
I said, I'm in support of the Parents' Bill of Rights. No need to keep secrets. I think if any parent, if a kid is going to tell a teacher a secret, and that secret gets to the parent, and the parent is going to hurt the child, I don't really care what that secret is. So I'm confused why he would try and keep this, keep that from. I don't think teachers are forced to tell parents. The parents are responsible for their child. Okay, that's it. Parents are responsible for their kid, and thank you for putting it up. I agree with it. Thanks.
Amy Reichert.
About 18 months ago, a parent from Ocean Beach Elementary came to me and she didn't know what to do. It turns out she was also a teacher there. She has 2 girls, a 3rd grader and a 4th grader. And one day, her 3rd grade girl came home and said, "Mom, there was a lady that showed up in our class and said, 'Hi.'" It was an announcement that this teacher's aide made to the class. "Join Rainbow Club. Are you a boy who thinks she's a girl? Join Rainbow Club. Are you a girl who thinks she's a boy? Join Rainbow Club. Are you a girl who likes other girls? Come to Rainbow Club. We do arts and crafts." So again, she was also a teacher there. And so she came to me and she asked me to start asking some questions. Immediately, I was called publicly a liar by the principal of the school. Later, that principal was forced to admit that Rainbow Club was actually going on. Just this past week at the Unified School District in Encinitas, a dad of a 5th grader just said that his 5th grade son came home because the teacher asked them to read a book, My Shadow is Pink, a book that encourages transgenderism. Whether you agree with that or not, that's what the book was about. And so then they went to a kindergarten class where they watched a video called My Shadow is Pink, and it was a buddy class. And so the 5th graders then had to read to the kindergartners. Here's the thing. When the government is in the business of lying to parents and keeping secrets from parents, that is not inclusive, that is exclusive. And it is wrong, and it is illegal. Everybody here wants to protect children, but they also want to include parents in the conversation. Thank you.
Janet Mulder.
Sorry, yes. Walking down my long suit. Good evening. Yes, I'm Janet Mulder. I am not a resident of Lakeside. In fact, I've been on a school board and I've been a member of the California School Boards Association. And I came here tonight because I really believe that every school district needs to have a wonderful and very important, actually, a role for the parents to play. And I thought it was very interesting when we heard today that some of the points have been made that were sort of a very interesting thing to me, saying, gollies, how long has it been since these people have actually been into school or been in a school district? And my recommendation is that they may want to take a little jaunt and go in. Because I think the question is, how would voting down this proposal make life better when it actually ensures that parents will need to be informed, aware, and you know, when you approve the curriculum, when the parents approve the curriculum, the learning becomes much easier. having taught for a goodly number of years, and then, as I said, been on school board after that, I'm here to tell you that if the parents will join and be partners in the education, it works out considerably better. And I think it's very important that we cannot, nor should we, expect parents and/or teachers to be lone rangers. They have to be able to cooperate and work together. And it's very important because while they're both very important to the children, whether they're the teacher or the parent, they both need to work together. Thank you.
Steve Roback.
Alrighty, my name's Steve, my pronouns are dude, guy, and bro. I wasn't gonna come up and speak tonight, because I thought most people had it covered, but I gleaned some things by listening, so I thought I'd write down notes on a notepad and come up and talk about it. A couple things I heard that, I don't know where it came from, but it almost seemed like it was shared on that side by several. Parents are too stupid to make good decisions for their kids. I actually heard someone say that parents are too stupid, and I'm thinking, make it in simple terms. The kids are the fiduciary owners of the parents are the owners of their kids. They're there to make the decisions, to help make the decisions for their kids. And they should be there making the decisions for their kids. Now, if a kid has an issue at school, that parent needs to know about it. We grew up at a time where we learned about everything that we were doing. I got in a lot of trouble. My parents knew about it all the time. I was on suspension. I went to the vice principal's office and did that a lot. And my parents were first to get called from Mr. Harrington to know what I was doing wrong. Anyway, teachers and bureaucrats know what's best for the kids, not the parents. That was the point I was making. Parents know what's best for the kids, not the bureaucrats and the teachers. Students don't have autonomy from the parents. Parents have autonomy from the bureaucrats. And what I like about this resolution, which isn't changing any laws or creating anything that doesn't exist, it's really informing the parents what they need to know in case they did need to know. Another thing I heard about parents too was that only the parents that care about their kids come to these groups, and the ones that don't care about their kids aren't here. Clearly that's not the case. There's a lot of parents that don't have time to come here, don't know to come here. What else was I going to say? If you care so much about the lawsuits taking away money from the district, then don't sue anybody, and then the money will be there. But like I think Priscilla said, this has all been vetted, and there's nothing to sue for. One last thing, I like to agree with the other side, but if I did, we'd both be wrong.
Did we receive any others? I know we had talked, there was a few people that I made direction to, that if you have a card in your hand, please bring it forward, and I will let you speak.
There's no more cards. There's no cards. Online forms. You're all out of cards in the back.
We'll be at it, so there's a couple other things I want to go through. So we had 2 people who didn't show, and I'd like to offer them, if they're here, the opportunity to go. Carrie wanted to speak on this item. I would like for her to speak if she wishes. And then if you wanted to get a card but you couldn't, you're welcome to come and speak. And then we're going to cap it at that point. Okay? Mr. Hilliker.
Good evening, everyone. You'll get your card, but it's got my notes on it, so just give me a second. Esteemed board, I look at this as a big transparency issue. As a business owner, person that's been in the community for 55 years of his life, a man whose wife is a teacher in this district, I think it's all about transparency, and this isn't changing anything. It's just going to make things better. I'm in support of the Parents' Bill of Rights. I think it's something that will help uplift the community of Lakeside and make things better at the school district. If I had a kid and a teacher kept something from me at the school district, first thing I'd do is pull the kid out, and then I'd sue the school district. Yep. So it's just not good. It's not good practice. And you know what I think about, my father served on this board for 22 years, and I think WWHD, what would Harold do? And all of you that know Harold knows that he would be supporting this. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much, and also congratulations on 100 years in Lakeside.
Jessica Weekly.
Hello, I'm Jessica. I have a son that goes to Riverview. I personally helped facilitate everything for the International Fair. I mean, not taking credit for everything, but made sure that it was very diversified, made sure each and every booth represented countries well. So I appreciate you guys for attending and recognizing that. On that note, we chose Riverview based on the diversity there. We want our child to be exposed to all the diversity. However, we don't like secrets, and I think that's kind of everybody's opinion here that is in support of the Parents' Bill of Rights. We want our children to know that they can come to their parents, and to go further on what my husband was saying, I don't think he fully said everything. If there's a secret that you have to keep from your parent, and your teacher, as a teacher, feel like you have to keep that from a parent, then that is your right as a teacher to report them. If you think they're going to be in danger, that is a teacher's right currently. So I don't think we're taking anything besides just keeping our children safe, healthy, especially when it comes to medical decisions, giving them medicine at school, having them sign off rights to us once they turn 12. Those kinds of things I don't think are in a benefit for a 12-year-old to make those type of decisions. Like, us parents are there for a reason. So that's all.
So there were two speakers who were called out, but I don't know if they were late or whatever. I just want to make sure they are offered another opportunity to speak. So it was Marco Aguirre Mendoza. Is Marco here? Okay. Augustine Perez. Is Augustine Perez here? Okay. Carrie Strong, I added you to the list here because you'd like to speak on this. Carrie?
Thank you. All right. So I want to state a couple things I've been listening all night that we fully agree on. We fully agree that we want parents not only to know their rights, but to be involved in their child's education. We also know that the teachers of this district are not going to be compelled to break any laws. We can't. We all took an oath when we took this job to uphold the state constitution and all the laws of this country. And you've said that to people in private and in public. So we know that. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around why it's important to you to have a phrasing in the Parent Bill of Rights that is in violation of the FERPA laws of our students. There are provisions for teachers, school professionals to disclose information about sexual transitioning when it is appropriate to appropriate parties in emergencies. No one's going to keep secrets from families in emergencies in those situations. These laws were in place to protect kids and to give them the right to talk to their parents in their own time and their own space. So when we're thinking all about this, you've heard everybody covered all the big bullet points on both sides of the issues. They told you why it's important, and they told you why we're worried about this. This is causing stress for our teachers and our students, and we need to stay focused on doing the right and the good work of educating them. We can handle these political conversations on agreeing or disagreeing what the federal or state government should or shouldn't tell our families to do at that level. Our job at the school district is to be responsible with our money, to be responsible for high quality education for our students, and make sure we're offering the right programs to our students and doing a good job of communicating with all of our families to make sure they know how to be involved, how to come to our school events, what's going on. Maybe we can do a better job at promoting those things. Those are conversations that would be great to have. How can we get our families to show up to things more? Not just a school board meeting where everybody's upset about things. Thank you.
Okay, I know I granted one last speaker right here. After you, we're gonna be done.
I love how so many people in this room, this entire room, clearly has unconditional love for their kids. I don't care what side of the coin you're on. It's impressive. As a member of the LGBT community myself, I feel that parents must always, always be involved in their children's life, from birth to adulthood and beyond. People say that this parent notification policy isn't necessary, yet they've also admitted here tonight that secrets are kept from parents. We've heard that a couple of times. Parents are children's best advocates, always. Nobody loves them more than their parents. And some of the bad parents that people have brought up, the minority of the bad parents, it doesn't matter if they're LGBTQIA or straight or cis, whatever you want to call it. They'd still be bad parents, and they need to be turned in if they're that bad. Someone else said, or a couple people have said that this is political, and I agree. Every single country that has kept children from their parents has ended tragically. Every single one of them. I know. Some of my family members were victims of totalitarian governments, divisive ideologies, and I'd say this is a pretty divisive ideology. And when you separate children, when the government separates children from their parents, we're done. Protect Lakeside children and pass this PNP tonight. Thank you.
Forgive me because I'm a little nervous, but I'm speaking on behalf of my daughter. I'm not left, right, middle, wherever you land. My daughter suffers from anxiety and depression and was bullied horribly as a artistic, beautiful Christian young lady at LCC. I can't tell you how many times I asked the school, teachers, principals, staff to protect my child. I've actually spent, I don't know, probably close to 10 grand in jiu-jitsu to teach my daughter to defend herself in the public school system, because anytime I approach a principal, a teacher, or staff member, their hands are tied by the state. Not till I went to who I never knew we would be friends. Actually, both of them I never knew we would be friends. A parent who her husband now sits on the Cajon Valley School Board. She was my best ally. Another parent. A parent who was on campus making sure things happened would actually say, I said good morning to your beautiful daughter. She's doing okay. She's making it through the day. My daughter missed an entire month of schooling due to being bullied. And to be quite honest, it was from a trans student, to be honest. She simply invited her to church and she declined. And Kaylee said, that's fine, I understand, I just wanted to offer. And from that day, she was bullied relentlessly. I mean, 5 girls ganging up on a group chat threatening to end my daughter's life. Where was my Bill of Rights? Where was my daughter's voice? I want to pass this Bill of Rights Not because it's a left issue, a right issue, a gay issue, a straight issue, but because nothing more in this world did I ever want to become than a mother. And I will go to my grave protecting my child, and no one has that right to take that away from me. That's all. Thank you.
That concludes our public comment. Now, what I would like to do at this moment is ask a question of the board. I would like to reorganize the agenda. That needs a unanimous vote from us. I would like to move our presentation public hearing items that follow public comment after our items of business J, which you'll see here. And so that way we can discuss the resolution and other items of business first, and then proceed with the rest of the meeting. I need a unanimous vote on that. I will make a motion to reorganize the agenda to move H and I after J. Do I have a second?
I second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Bennett?
Sorry, I'm still figuring out what you're doing here.
I'm moving J under G. I'm sorry, I'm running, H, I are being moved after J.
I agree.
Trustee Ellison?
Aye.
Trustee Casper? Vice President Hover-Moyer? And I'm an aye as well. Okay, excellent. So now we'll proceed to items of business. So I would like to take a motion to designate items to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to designate items to the consent agenda?
I move that we designate items to the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any items we'd like to pull? Of course, 2.3. And I'd like to pull 4.10, 5.1. I think that's all. Any others?
1 second.
Any other items you like to pull? None? Okay. Then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda with the exception of 2.3, 4.10, and 5.1.
I move that we approve all items on the consent agenda with the exception of 2.3, 4.10, and 5.1.
Excellent. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 2.3. So this is the resolution that we've received lots of comment on this evening. So I am going to move that we approve this resolution, and I'm going to speak in favor of the motion, and then we'll have seconds and everything else. Okay? So we heard a lot of comments tonight, and I'm grateful for everybody who's here. A couple things that I want to speak to. First off, I welcome and always welcome, in fact, it's very, very, very influential on me to say that fiscal responsibility is important. I have a saying that the staff know very well, which is when we're in the black, we're happy, when we're in the red, we're sad, and I believe that, and I've always been a steward of fiscal responsibility. I also find it, though, slightly ironic that some of the same people encouraging that are also threatening the lawsuit that will make me spend all these money. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I heard a lot of comments tonight about forced outing. I think a lot of our colleagues addressed that in our earlier comments. In the resolution, I think it's a very important part of the resolution that says we're going to review policies. I reject the notion that we are not policymakers. School board members make policy. And we have policy that comes to us from the state, and we recognize that. But we also make policy. And it's our duty. We approved policies just now in our consent agenda item. They're board policies. And when there are board policies that may conflict with state law, or that we have questions about, we're elected to ask. We're elected to review. That is what we're here to do. So the notion that we're not policymakers, that's a premise I can't accept. Secondly, or thirdly, A.G. Bonta, just recently, cited in a law briefing that many administrative regulations that school districts have may not be in line with their board policy, in which case board policy prevails, and also that may not have impact in state law. So administrative guidelines are created without being there in law. We have a responsibility to ensure that we are protecting the district by reviewing them. Hence, that sentence in the resolution. Additionally, we are part of a democracy, a republic, a representative republic. Our job is to provide check and balances. We represent our community, we're elected here, and it's our job to provide a check if we feel that we have questions for the state, and it's our job as electeds to do that. That's what we're here to do. So those are the merits by which I believe we need to pass this evening. I will entertain a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion in opposition, comments from the rest of the board?
Yeah, I just want to make a couple other comments. This is really hard. You know, I think it's great that we have hard questions and conversations about the things that are before us. I still will consistently err on the parents and the love of the parents, the family unit, and the fact that what has been commented a lot this evening is that transparency and honesty is always the best policy. I think that there is a deep-seated misrepresentation that great parents are always affirming parents. I've said it before, it's not about what I believe in and whether I'm on the side of whether or not trans is right or not. That's not what this is about. The signs that say protect trans youth, I agree with. We are to protect the kids. All kids. Even if I disagree with whatever is going on, I still have to rely or at least understand that parents are infallible and they make mistakes. I've made many mistakes as a parent. I've done things that I'm not proud of. But I've always loved my kids. And I just deeply feel that, especially in Lakeside, that we have just a great community. And we have parents that really, really care. And the parents need to make these decisions. And the only way they can make decisions for their kids is if they know what's going on. Whether it's right or wrong and you agree or disagree with the parent's decision, it's still their decision. And you know, for those of you that are in the audience that say that, again, your parents may or may not agree with your decisions, but they're still your parents. And they're doing the best they can, and they're trying to do what they know is right, and sometimes it's wrong. But it's still up to the parents. It's all about the parents, and we have got to trust that that's the right way to go, even if we don't agree with it. So I just want to pull that out.
Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time studying what the state has been doing, our state and also other states in our country. And I probably would feel very, very different if I thought any of our children would be discriminated against, irregardless of what they call themselves, what they want to be. They're our students. We are the trustees of our students. And I don't believe the discrimination that there's been talked about, a lot of discrimination if a child is outed out, and I really don't like that word anyway. This is good for parents in our community, Lakeside Union, which I'm proud to be serving, and this is good for kids. We don't want to exclude anybody that has differing opinions. I welcome anybody at the table, but I believe this is the best now. And to say it's political, everything's political. But I try to raise your focus. When I ran for school board 2 years ago, almost, it was children first, all else is next. And the other new members of the board, I saw what they were doing and felt they have the same philosophy as me, children first. So I don't want to exclude anybody. I honor parents and guardians that are here, regardless of your philosophy. If you have children here, we'll take good care of them. That's our job. And the school board will make sure that job is done and done fairly. Thank you.
Okay.
So, I'm glad everybody took the time to speak and to speak their voice and their heart. I'm also the parent of the trans child. It's not something that, they're a very private person, so it's not something that we talk about and just come out with because they like their privacy. We've been going through this process for 6 years, and it is a process, and it is their process, and it is their right to share that as they want, but it is also my job as a parent to be there to support my child. And I would hate to have someone think that that they can decide for me when and how I get to be there to support my child, because we're there to love our children. And I think it's important that this is a partnership. It's a partnership between the district and parents. It's a partnership between staff and parents. It's a partnership between our students and our parents. And I think that, you know, we need to be able to have that transparency to where we can have that part, because that is so important for our kids.
Thank you. Just my one note on partnership, agree 100%, and that's why when we talk about review, I fully expect everybody here to voice their opinion on review of policy and share what they see, and that'll be coming up here soon. So thank you all for being here. Okay, there is a motion and a second on the floor. I will do a roll call vote. Trustee Bennett.
Aye.
Trustee Ellison.
Aye.
Trustee Casper.
Aye.
Vice President Hofer-Moyer.
Aye.
And I'm aye. The motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the next pulled item, 4.10, which is approval of our gift to the district. I always like to check our receipt. Check our receipt, and then everybody can do that. Yeah, that's, I think. Okay, so we're going to continue through with 4.1. It's a gift to the district. We thank all of our donors. Is there a motion to approve? Second? All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Okay. 5.1, this is regarding our curriculum adoption. I pulled this because I wanted to, thank all of our team members, our teachers, our staff, and Trustee Ellison for her commitment on that. Her commitment on the,
Yeah, I don't think we need to take a pause, like a break, but we can just pause until, this is an important.
we can do a recess. Yeah, okay. We're going to take 5 minutes recess.
I am okay with the audience being a little bit slimmer.
That's very good.
Have you tried to keep joining? Do I need to turn on the phone?
Hello, how are you?
Twins.
Oh, you guys are cute.
Call each other? Okay, I got the memo.
I mean, like,
Oh, no, I told my kids I was after
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that.
I've never used it before. Wait. I think one time. I know one time. I know. I can't remember what the circumstances was. And I was like, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh, really? Oh, you didn't? I didn't know you were still here. I would have seen you. And you, we did 2 years before you. Oh, you're still a hospital. We're still in Boston. Oh, you are? Yeah, we've been in the hospital. Oh, okay. Once you retire, okay. Yeah. Oh, very good.
I just want to say
We're gonna go over to the.
oh, on that slope. Get that big car, that truck. It is. Oh, it's so I went in the shade to see how much those cost, starting at.
Unless it's during the day. But it usually isn't.
I don't think we've
Yeah, it's definitely on. Maybe stand right there.
Thank goodness the air's back on. I know, it's really, really kicked up. I see movement, so it's working. It feels good. Good look like it. How are you? Yes, I was waiting.
We will reconvene. We had, on our last item, 5.1, which has to do with curriculum adoption. So I pulled this because I want to hold a board study session, parent night for input on this issue. And then we can gather questions in advance so that our staff can answer questions regarding the curriculum beforehand. And then present that at that meeting. And then we can move it to another meeting for adoption. So that's what I'd like to do. Before I go to a motion, is there any discussion or clarifying questions on that?
Yeah, I just want to say in light of the conversations we just had, I think it's, especially with curriculum, it's incredibly important that we stay transparent, which is what we've been talking about for the last couple hours. So yeah, I agree. We need to have a little bit more input from the community and parents on this, and then we can move forward.
Thank you. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm happy that the district already does what's required of them, and so I don't think it's ever a bad idea to do even more, but I just want to commend the district for already doing that.
Excellent. Yes, I agree 100%. And just so there for other situational awareness, I always appreciate personally reading through all of the curriculum, and I'm only halfway through. So unfortunately, I need a little more time. But I like to make sure I'm reading what I'm voting on. And this is a big deal for us. I mean, we've been working on this for a long time. The team's been doing a great job, so I want to make sure that we're giving maximum transparency to parents. So with that then, I'd like to just have a motion to table this, and staff understands the direction that we discussed. So, is there a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. We're going back now. I had to remember that lovely deal. We're going back to presentation from Dr. Clark. Come on up. Special education update.
Good evening. I get to show off a lot of things, so I'm very excited about that. I'm doing my year in review. This is my second year, so super excited to be sharing this with you. I want to introduce one of my members of our special education admin team, which is Jenna Mitchell. She's new this year. You'll see her face on here in the picture. So here's our SPED squad. We all have our t-shirts. I am lucky enough, I tell our leadership team any moment I can that I am truly blessed. They set me up for so many wonderful positive experiences coming into this position. And my leadership team we've been able to grow since I even started. So there's my position. I have 2 program specialists. I have a TOSA. We've been approved for a TOSA for another year. Super excited about that. And then Danielle and Jimmy, you guys have been around the district for a while. You are very familiar with them, and they're the ones that keep us really going along and getting all of our business needs met. But this is our dream team, and it truly is a dream team for me, especially being here. The other piece that isn't necessarily just special education, and I've done a presentation on this along with Dr. Fernandez, is also that falls under me is the behavior team. So that is Gabby. We are very excited to have her. I think we've had interviews with every single principal in the district about her and the team and the work that they do. We've spoken in depth a few months ago about all of the work that they do, but just as a reminder, Gabby leads that team, and then there's 4 behavioral intervention aides that work with her. It's referral-based, so they support special education students and gen ed students, and then also assessment-based, so students may have their services as a part of their AAP. But for this year, you're going to see a lot of the numbers really looking at this year. They have done direct support to 68 students, and of those 68 students, it's a combination of general education and special education. They support every single school. We have students at Dreamland they're supporting. We even have preschoolers. We have winter gardens. So every single school has reached out and has sought support from our behavior team. 26 out of those 68 students are students that actually have it as a service in their IEP. We have 13 STCs, we'll cover that in a second, but they do proactive support in every single one of our special day classes, so that's really important, and I think all of the teachers have seen the benefit of that. So it's ongoing training for the support staff that are in that classroom, ongoing modeling for them, as well as coaching with the teacher. We've had 19 new referrals this year. Every single school in the district has been represented in referrals. I reached out to her because I'm like, that doesn't seem like a really large number. And a big piece of that is because they're on site every single day at every single one of our school sites, they are doing a lot of informal consultation, whether it's with the principal or the TOSA or the classroom teachers. They're out there in transition times, they're out there at lunch, they're out there at recess. So they're able to do a lot of on-the-spot, just informal, hey, have you tried this? Or hey, let's talk about this later. Or teachers can just, they know that they can just go up to either our BCBA or the behavior aides. And so that really has brought down the need for a lot of formal requests, which is what we've had over many years of having this behavior team. Because they're just so accessible and their faces are on the campus every single day, that's really helped in having to do formalized support. We want to do it when necessary, but we've also realized just being able to have that proactive support has been really beneficial for all of our students. And the aides get training every Monday. Gabby starts at bringing the aides in first thing Monday morning. They review the data, they review referrals, and then they also get training in particular, different tools and different supports and different ways of working with the students. They can come in and they can bring their questions. And that's an important piece that we didn't have before. It was more they would kind of just get together really quickly on the fly, but this is a really concentrated time and they're getting ongoing weekly training. And so in terms of going to special education, we have a lot of staff that are supporting a lot of students. So every single school site has at least one school psychologist. We have a couple that split even more. That's 1.5 for a couple of sites. At least one speech and language pathologist. Every single elementary school has 2. Our middle schools, the numbers are a little bit lower. Students tend to not necessarily need as much direct support, so each middle school has 1. And there's at least 1 resource specialist teacher at every single school site. We have a lot of teachers, resource specialists, day class teachers. Don't forget, we provide supports to preschools. So we've got 4 preschool teachers and we have 3 infant teachers. 1 does all of her support in the home, and the other 2 provide site-based support for our 2-year-olds. So they provide support for 2 to 3-year-olds. And they also do some mommy and me classes monthly. 10 psychologists, 12 speech and language pathologists, and 78, that number is kind of fluctuating all the time, paraprofessionals. Some are direct classroom support, supporting our day classes, providing support to our resource specialists. And then I'm sure you guys are familiar that some of our students need individualized support, so kind of one-to-one support. We're hoping to see less and less of that over time. We're constantly looking at that because I know that can have a fiscal impact. So we really try to provide a lot of support to teams when they're looking at the need to add individual support for students at APs. And then district-wide, we have 2 APE teachers, so they go in and they support. In middle school, they're supporting our gen ed PE teachers for students with disabilities that need it, and then 3 occupational therapists that work with all students, the littlest ones up until 8th grade. So our specialized programs, it's all at the same sites that we've had before, so we host them at Mild Mod, so those tend to be students potentially like ADHD, learning disabilities. We host 2 of our school sites are host sites. Lindale Park and Lakeside Farms. Lemon Crest hosts 4 of our SDCs for students with moderate to severe disabilities, students with more cognitive disabilities, intellectual disability, for instance. Lakeside Middle School hosts 2 mild mod SDCs, so students spend a lot more time in self-contained classrooms. Tierra del Sol hosts a moderate SDC, so some students need more support than a mild moderate student does, so oftentimes they're getting more of their content in a separate setting, but yet they have some social skills and they have communication needs that they're still able to spend some time in gen ed, so a lot of those students in that moderate class they still participate in electives and general education PE, which oftentimes might be different for our students with moderate to severe disabilities. And then we also have a mod severe class at Tierra del Sol. So those 2 classrooms, the students tend to be more self-contained, but the moderate, they do spend a little bit more time outside. So our students, so as of today, Lakeside serves 1,057 students. Out of that giant number, 66 are in our self-contained preschool, 309 are served at our elementary school site and for RSP. So RSP students spend the majority of their time in gen ed classrooms, and services are either brought to them in the gen ed classroom or they are pulled out, could be for 30 minutes, so they're pulled out for particular amounts of time during the school week to do goal work for them. 120 students are in self-contained day classes. That could either be those mild mod classes I was talking about or moderate to severe. At our middle school, we have 265 mild moderate students. Some of those students spend some time in self-contained day classes, so classrooms where it's all students with disabilities, but the overwhelming majority of our students at middle school are involved in general education classrooms, and their support is going to them in their classrooms, whether it's through aid support or whether it's the special education teacher working in conjunction with the general education teacher in like a co-taught environment. So there's a large number of students at both school sites that get the support of 2 teachers in the classroom, and a math classroom or an English classroom. We've got 24, and I talked to you about the 2 classes at TDS, but 24 middle school students right now in our moderate class or a moderate to severe day class. And then we have 204. So that's a big chunk of that 1,000 are just speech-only students. So students that don't need any academic support, but they just have speech or language needs. So they spend all of their time in general classrooms. So on-site support, because we have such a robust support team, we are able to provide a lot of on-site support. And I know that has been different than we've been able to do historically, just because we haven't had the bodies to do it. So we are excited to say that we have sat in at least 254 IEP meetings this year. Something new this year that we've started was spring IEP days. I think the gen ed teachers and the special ed teachers at the elementary school sites are much more excited about that than most people. But with so many students with IEPs, it's hard to schedule meetings. And we only have one administrator, and we have to have an administrator at every single meeting. So in the springtime and everything gets busy with spring testing and report cards and everything like that, we thought that if myself or the program specialist or TOSA is able to serve as an administrator in the meeting, it will make it easier for them to schedule. So we're providing substitute teachers, and we're kind of having like IEP marathon days, and we've been able to knock out a lot of meetings. So I think that has also helped with the amount of meetings we've been able to have. So 182 staffings, we call them staffings, which are proactive meetings where the team or members of the team get together ahead of the IEP meeting just to plan and brainstorm, make sure all of our ducks are in a row, answer any questions. We want to be a united front when we're meeting with the parents. And so we answer any questions that the team may have. So we've done 182 of those. We've been able to, and this is just minimal numbers because I just asked them for really quick numbers, 50 site support requests, and that's from our TOSA. So individual teachers now know that they can go straight to the TOSA, and oftentimes it's easier for them to reach out to a colleague. Sometimes they think, I don't want to bother the program specialist, I don't want to bother Danielle. And I think it's just a little bit easier when they reach out to their teacher on special assignment. She spent a lot of time at the beginning of the year working with our new teachers. Some are brand new baby teachers that some of them didn't even have credentials, they were on emergency credentials. We had really experienced teachers that we've been able to bring in, but it's always different when you switch district to district. So she provided a lot of support at the beginning of the year, which was something that was new because we didn't have that position before, and we got a lot of positive feedback about being able to do that. We also are really pushing our teams to hold like department meetings or special education site team meetings. We have a handful of schools that have dedicated weekly. They made a commitment amongst themselves. They want to get together weekly. Jeanette goes to one of those Lakeside Farms. We have others where scheduling is just too difficult. And so at least every single school site meets at least monthly with us, if not more frequently. So we've done at least over 30 of those this year. So trainings that we've offered, we really prioritize professional development and trying to work with all of the logistical constraints, substitute teachers, being able to pull folks away from the school site because we know it's so hard, and being able to utilize the minimum days that we do have when they're not doing the PLCs, because we want them to be part of everything that's on campus. So we've been able to do CPI, you guys have heard of our CPI training, our crisis intervention. So that is available for all staff. It's fed folks that have been trained, and we're the trainers in my department, but we are getting more and more gen ed teachers. We've done campus supervisors. I've had office managers come in. I think before there was a thought that it was only for special ed folks, and we say we want anybody who works in the school district to be a part of crisis intervention training. So we've done 7 so far. We have one more planned in a couple weeks. So we've done 7. We've done a special one for transportation because they wanted their own. They have their own unique questions and experiences, as you can imagine, being a bus driver with a very captive audience as it's moving. So we've done one for them as well. We've been able to provide district-wide professional development. We invited one of our county partners from South County SELPA. They did a large trauma training for us for trauma-informed care. We've had our attorney out. We've done assessment report reviews, and we've shared, and we have done brainstorming, all looking at the same one and talking about positives and talking about areas that we can grow because we really are working towards more alignment. We've had trainings on compliance, report cards, new teacher camps. Again, that was thankfully because we have our TOSA. This year is new that we've been able to provide instructional aid monthly trainings that have been led by our behavior team. So the BCBA and the aides, we invite all of the aides, any of the aides can come in. We do different times because of our early start and late start. We have school sites that have offered to host. Oftentimes it's a make it, take it. So if they're talking about like an if-then chart, then they're able to have the supplies there and they can make them and they can take it back to their classrooms. So we've been excited to do that because we know we need to get more training for our aides. That's a priority group for us. Job-alike meetings are meetings where we bring like practitioners together. So Sondai is something that we introduced last year, and it's a tool to help us work with our students with dyslexia. So we bring our teachers together that work with Sunday, because oftentimes it's like one teacher at the school site. So we bring them together as a job-alike group to talk about what's working and what's innovative and what they're trying. We've done that 6 times. We've brought our resource specialists together 5 times. Again, there's only 2 or 3 of them at a school site, and oftentimes they're very busy, so we can bring them together and they can talk about what's working for them and what are you doing at your school. So it's really important for us to create an environment where everybody can talk and we can have some cross-collaboration at the school sites. Again, for more alignment also. And we bring our SLPs. We have department meetings, so we bring the speech paths together once a month, as well as the school psychologists. So some major accomplishments. This is what we're really excited about this year. We started we go back and forth with our acronym. I think we've settled on SELT because I had a really lengthy one before, and Jeanette was like, let's just do SELT. It's our special education leadership team, so we have representation from all of the service providers. So we have preschool, we have elementary, we have middle, we have our day class teachers, we have school psychologists, speech, so all representation. People chose to be on this, so nobody was made and forced into doing it. But we have spent time looking at district-wide data, we've spent time looking at school-wide data. We are doing that, we're having root cause conversations. So our next meeting, the final one for this year, we're gonna be creating department-wide goals. And then going into next year, it'll be a focus on creating 3 areas that, regardless of the positions that people are in, this is going to be what our driving force is and what the work is that we're going to be doing. And we're really working hard to align it to our LCAT goals. So we're excited for that. And people really seem very, very much interested in having a voice and being able to offer their feedback and the things that they've seen. We have a lot of folks on the team that have been here for a while, so they've got experience at elementary, even though they're working at middle, and experience at working at multiple school sites. So it's really been exciting work. Something else that we're excited about is Tierra del Sol. They have started an inclusion initiative. We have 2 mild mod day classes, so students would transition from elementary to middle school historically, and they would really stay between 2 different teachers, kind of going between going just with their SPED group and then really not having any exposure to all of the other classes. And we have taken down those walls. And we're trying it out, so there's bumps in the road, but we've taken down those walls and we pushed those students into gen ed. So all of those students who need a lot of support are still in classrooms getting support, either in classrooms where they have 2 teachers like I talked about, a special education teacher and a gen ed teacher, or in a classroom that has a gen ed teacher with a special education aide. Because when they go into high school, they don't have self-contained environments for mild mod students, because all of our mild mod students who want to get diplomas. And in high school, they know that, and so they're in supported classes with their gen ed peers. And so we want to create that model in middle school, so it won't be such a huge transition when they get to high school. So we really want to set them up for success, and we want to not create any barriers with it that come from our systems that might prohibit them from getting a high school diploma. So we're really being forward thinking about that. This team is really open, and we'll keep talking about it. So I will give you an update next year to see how that's going. Also, preschool inclusion opportunities, something that we have spent a lot of time thinking about. The state has noticed that we have more students in self-contained classrooms than we should. But what we've also realized is that it's not a lakeside thing and we just want to keep special ed preschoolers together. A huge piece of it is because we just don't have space. We don't have space to create multiple classrooms. So one idea that we're trying out this year is that we're purchasing seats, because for our gen ed students, parents have to pay or the state pays, but it's a fee-based, if you will, in a very general sense. So special education is purchasing seats. So our special education preschoolers, depending on what the team offers, is paying for the seat so a parent doesn't have to pay for it because it's part of their special education opportunity and offer that the district's providing. So what that is also doing is it's providing more inclusive opportunities. So some of our special education preschoolers are in a general education preschool classroom getting support from a gen ed teacher as well as a special education aide and a special education teacher. So we're excited about that. Our numbers slightly growing in doing that, and we're going to look to see what other opportunities we can create in the coming school year. Open moderate classrooms, so it really was an effort to knowing that we were getting a handful of students that seemed kind of higher for this group and a little bit lower, like a little bit lower than our mild mod, but a little bit higher than our moderate to severe students. And so we created a moderate classroom this year. Mr. Bishop is teaching it at Tierra del Sol. He's put a lot of work into doing it and refining it. Those students in that classroom, like I was saying, have a lot more opportunities in going into electives in PE, but they need a lot of support for content areas like English and for math. And so that is something new. And so we're trying that out, but I do think it has helped give our students more inclusive opportunities in areas that they excel in. So we're doing that, it's kind of bookending it. We're doing that for our middle school, and we opened one up for our TKers. So it's just another opportunity. We want to make sure that we're putting them into the right environment. Sometimes it's hard when they're in preschool and they're only going a few hours a week. So by starting it in TK when they're going full day, we're better able to get a picture of them when they're going to school full time for us to make some better decision making after TK. So we'll be continuing with that next year. Something that I do think has had an influence on our behavior numbers, how some of those numbers are a little bit lower than they historically probably were, is that our behavior aides are actually assigned to campuses. So they absolutely were on school campuses in the prior years, but sometimes there'd be 2 of them on a campus because they were just there for particular students, and I would go to a campus and see 3 of them and they were totally working, but then there might be another campus that has no support. So now they all have schedules, they all have dedicated school sites, and I think because of that proactive piece, we've been able to provide a lot more of that general support that I was talking about. Another thing we're proud of constantly is our cross-departmental collaboration. One of those pictures I was going to the equity conference, but it was with ed services and it was special education. We're invited to learning walks. So we absolutely go alongside with ed services as they're going into classrooms and having those conversations with staff. We go to conferences together. We have quarterly meetings, if not more meetings, where we're bringing all of our teams together to problem solve. We don't want to duplicate our efforts. We want to work as a united front. So having those really tight collaborative relationships has been really helpful. Lastly, we have done an ELA curriculum adoption. It's more of a supplemental tool. It's not the primary tool, but it's a supplemental tool. Again, we're working towards alignment with our students, especially when they're pulled out of their general education environments. We want to ensure that the time that they are spending with us is quality time, and then we want to ensure that the teachers are doing the same thing, and the teachers aren't having to find their own materials, and so their experiences vary depending on who their teacher is or depending on who the site is. So that was the primary goal about adopting an ELA curriculum. It's reading mastery and corrective reading, and there's been a history of using those 2 pieces of curriculum in this district before, so it wasn't brand new. Our pilot group, most of the teachers were familiar with it or had pieces of the material in their classrooms. But we had an overwhelming recommendation for both of those. And ease of use as well, because we want to be able to have something that's not going to be too time consuming and also something that their aides can support them with. So something that was fun, and we do this every year, but I went, so I took pictures. But Eva Johnson is one of our middle school teachers. She's been in our district for many years. She's taught everything from TK to middle school. I think she thinks her sweet spot is middle school because she's been there for quite a while. But she was our SELPA Sunshine Award. She had a huge showing. Tons of people from her middle school went. Her principal, her administrator, gen ed teacher, special education teacher. So that was really exciting. And if you know her, she's a very humble person and a quiet person. So she is not a person that at all was dying for the spotlight. So it was really fun to watch that. But she's just an example of one of the shining stars we have here in the department. So this is why we do it. All of the adults, the staff, the kids, everybody loves their job. And I think we see that with the retention and people wanting to come here. I feel like we're getting more and more people wanting to come to Lakeside. For the people that don't already know Lakeside and they've grown up through Lakeside. So, you know, some of the, as I've been interviewing, some of the final questions, you know, one of those like, do you have any questions for us? It's like, why would we want to work here? Or why are we here? And, you know, a huge draw, pulling from some of those comments, it's just this small community, and it's people love what they do and they're passionate about kids and they want to see kids excel. So it's the same for us in why we do this. As you guys know, lastly is we adults still have fun. We enjoy working with each other, so we do cornhole, we do our potlucks, we get involved in all the Christmas stuff. So that is the end of my spiel. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Oh, sorry, questions?
I think we're okay for this evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just thank you for all your work and
Absolutely.
appreciate you always
Thank you.
working to help the kids. Okay, moving right along here, we are gonna go to the next item here, the public hearing. So we'll have a public hearing to receive input regarding the initial proposal with CSEA 240, so we can commence our negotiations. We don't have any comments on that, Lisa? No? Okay. Then we have an acknowledgement is requested of the initial proposal from the California School Employees Association in Chapter 240 for the 24-25 school year. So we acknowledge that. I've never seen that wording before, so I guess we just acknowledge that, okay? And last, we need approval for the initial proposal for the district to the California School Employees Association. That's Chapter 240 for the 24-25 school year. Is there a motion to approve the initial proposal from CSEA for the 2024-25 school year?
I move that we approve the requested initial proposal from the district to the CSEA Association for the 24-25 school year.
I will second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. On to our discussion, to our board policies, no, never mind, discussion items. We had our enrollment report. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask. Our investment report, that was also in our materials. And then legislative updates. I think the appropriations deadline next week in the legislature is going to be interesting, and then the May revise. So we are anxiously awaiting. I'm sure you're going to talk to us a little bit about that, so I won't take any time on that tonight. Okay, first readings. We have first reading of AR and Exhibit 1312.4, Williams Uniform Complaint Procedures. Did you have any questions on it or edits? Okay, then we'll come back to us. Board policy in AR 1330, use of school facilities. Edits, comments, concerns. Okay. Board policy 4140-4240 on bargaining units. Any questions on that? Okay. Board policy 5116.2, involuntary student transfers. Hearing anything? Any concerns, questions? No? All right. Board policy 6162.5, student assessment. Great. Board policy 6170.1, transitional kindergarten. Anything? Okay, and those will all come back to us. Moving right along here to our reports to the board. Carrie, is she here? If she is, come on up.
A lot tonight, right, guys? I'm disappointed in our school board. That you feel like through this process, since the fall when this was introduced, the Parent Bill of Rights was introduced, that you felt that it's okay to allow our community to perceive that our educators are keeping secrets from the parents. What an accusation to throw at your teachers. You haven't come to me to ask, how do the policies of this district play out in your classrooms? What do you do when a kid comes to you and expresses that they're questioning? You haven't come to us to ask us that. I don't know if you've gone to administrators to ask them, I have no idea, but you haven't come to us. I don't think that's the best way to make well-informed policies and regulations and statements to the public. It ends up sowing misunderstanding, mistrust. I don't know. It's a big breakdown in communication with you guys and the teachers of this district. Yes, we want our parents involved. Holy cow. I would love to have parents volunteering out of my ears. Yes, I want them coming to my classrooms. Yes, I want them showing up to their parent conferences and answering that phone call. When I call them and say, I'm worried about what's going on here. Hey, I want to tell you what's happening on the playground. We all want that. Always. I don't know one educator that doesn't. I don't know one parent that doesn't want that too. So what I alluded to earlier is maybe the better way to approach this is to look at maybe our PR around involving parents in our practices in our school district could be better. I don't know. Maybe we can, a lot of parents they're getting all the notifications. They get all their parental right notifications every single school year that you sign off of, and it details all of the concerns that are in the Parent Bill of Rights. But maybe we could brainstorm some other ways to get people involved. We used to have a really incredible PTA program called School Smarts several years ago. There was I don't know if any of you are familiar with School Smarts. You're allowed to interact with me right now because it's not word comments presentation. It was an amazing program where parents that would come to night school, we provided dinner and childcare for their kids, and each session was focused on a different aspect of our school district, of being an involved parent in your schools, of how to look at board policy, where to go to find it if you're curious about something. Who do I contact if I'm concerned about a special education issue or a bullying issue or a whatever issue. And each week was targeted on those types of things. How do I support my child in reading and math? And at the end of that program, parents had there was a graduation ceremony, which was really moving and really meaningful to a lot of the parents who've been through it. I had a parent go through it who said, I didn't graduate from high school, and I graduated from this, and I'm gonna be a better parent because I did this. And thank you for having this opportunity. That's powerful engagement with our community and with our parents. And it's meaningful and it's positive. And I feel like things like that, we can collaborate on that stuff, right? And work together. This didn't feel like collaboration at all tonight. It felt like voices, obviously you guys can't respond, but it's just voices shouting out sound bites into the universe. And I don't think we actually solved the problems of our work by doing that. My door, my phone is always open to all of you. If you have questions, hey, what's happening at this school event? I heard this. Call me, I'll tell you. I talk to all these teachers all the time. I'll be open and honest with you. All of our people will. But I'm just I'll give it to you like it is. I will tell you how people are feeling about things. I won't sugarcoat it, right? I tell you guys how it is when I meet with you. And I want to be able to continue to do that. And I feel really disappointed, and it's unfortunate that all of this culminated during our Staff Appreciation Week. It feels like a really crummy way to kind of wrap up the week. Feeling really not supported and accused of things that, to my knowledge, are not happening in our school district. And I'm so sorry for those stories of parents that have experienced things. And there probably should have been other actions taken, but I want to look at our district. What are we doing to support our kids? What are we doing to know more and do better, go forward, and work together on that? And that's been my goal as being our union president, is working together with the school board, with our administrative team, with our professionals who have loads of experience with this, to collaborate together because we make better choices when we talk to each other about them. So that's where I'm at right now. But I just have to shout out to our teachers. The fun, the joy that I saw at the cornhole tournament just last week, it was, coming together, having a great time, celebrating, each other and having fun playing cornhole and celebrating the 100 years was really wonderful. It was so nice to see all our old, retired, I shouldn't say old, but moved on, graciously aging and amazing, doing new wonderful things out beyond our school district walls. Really fun to see all those people come back and say hello to them. And just huge thank you to everybody. I know that Lisa and Rachel, but lots of people, and food services had so much to do with coordinating all this and Rhonda pulling a lot of historical stuff. Thank you for providing us with a really nice celebration. It was really a fun way to really highlight what makes Lakeside special and fun and a different district than
even our districts next door in Santee, Oklahoma, Illinois, where it's just a little different here, and that's what attracts people to come work here and stay here and really love working here. So thank you for that opportunity. It was really, really awesome. I also want to make sure that our school board members are aware. I know your calendars are full. I'm sure Lisa pushes all of the events that are going on at our schools, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and it would be amazing. And we don't expect each of you to go to every single thing, but hopefully you can coordinate with each other on who's going to take what event to go to, because we have fantastic drama performances coming up at, I think, all of our schools, both of our middle schools. Matilda's going on at TES, and then the park is doing Judy B. Jones, and there's lots of other wonderful performances going on across the district, as well as just their end of the year activities with really celebrating all the learning that the kids have been doing all year long. I want to make sure that you're aware the Lakeside Historical Society is an amazing partner with our school district, and they do their Living History Days. I believe it starts the last week in May, the first week in June, but our schools have field trips. Our third graders take field trips to their Living History Days, where they get to really interact with all of the social studies that they have been learning about the history and development of Lakeside and San Diego County. And they get to kind of travel back in time and use a washboard to wash clothes and kind of put that hands-on approach to all of the stuff that they've been reading about and studying about in class. And so I invite all of you to come stop by if you want to come over on your lunch break or something, swing over. It's such a cool event to see happen, and it happens over multiple days. I don't have the exact dates right now, I can send them to you, but each school's kind of booked to go on a different day to interact over there. It's wonderful. And this, we're looking forward to all of our promotions and sending our 8th graders off to do amazing, great things in high school, and know that we have prepared them this last, if they were here for kindergarten or even preschool even, 9-10 years of education with us in Lakeside, that we have served them to the very best of our ability and given them more opportunities than some other school districts are able to offer their elementary schools. I don't know a lot of elementary school districts that offer full music programs for their 5th graders, and that's incredible across the district. And I'm proud of the things that we offer our schools, and I know you are too, and that's why you guys ran for our school board. And we just want to see that in, showing up, interacting with everybody, and really seeing the good work that we do, so that, when you're getting concerns from parents who are worried about something, you can go, oh, I know who's in charge of that. I can go talk to them. I had a conversation with them at a promotion last week. Those kind of relationships matter to us and Lakeside, and we just want to build that up and foster that across the board with everybody. So thank you for listening, for being here. I know it's late, and I'm going longer than I normally go tonight, but it's a big, heavy night, and I needed to share all that with you. So thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa Davis.
Okay, got a few updates. Just from the business office, our spring audit was just completed last week. So our final audit will be in the fall. You spoke to Andrew, the May revise from the governor has to be out no later than May 15th, so next week. And then Samantha and I will be attending the school services webinar on May 21st to get the detailed budget information for schools. So I don't really know anything at this time. It's been a little bit radio silent from the state about what the plan is. The last I heard was that things may not have shifted dramatically from the initial January proposal. I don't think, I've just been tracking the state's revenues, and they still, at one point, one of the months they thought, oh, it's gonna rebound, and then, oh, no, it hasn't. So, just see what kind of proposals the budget, or the governor comes up with, and what ends up, happening. Again, we have to adopt our budget before he has to adopt the state's budget, so it'll still be a bit of a crystal ball. And but good stuff though here in the district. The maintenance operations transportation department central kitchen remodel is complete. Yay! There's just a couple of punch list items, but for all intents and purposes, if you get a chance, stop by and look in there.
It's nice.
Beautiful.
I went there, what was it, last month? It's nice in there.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I first got on the board and I walked through there, it was hot and it was crowded, but it was nice. It's nice and open.
Yeah, well, now they have air conditioning. They hadn't, which was shocking, but, and the tech building has started. The buildings have been moved over to the backside of LMS. It's set and they're actually working on the interior walls and it is big. It was, I'm gonna go over tomorrow and look at it. Todd said wait a little bit, and but he sent me some pictures, and it's gonna be so nice for the tech department and that team to have their actual space and their workrooms and everything. So that's awesome. The TDS, if you recall, we were gonna do the fencing. That's one of the last school sites that's pretty open on the front. So Todd received the bids, and he'll have the award for the vendor on June 13th board meeting. It's gonna cost close to $500,000, but there's a lot of site work and the fencing and just redoing that whole front piece to secure it so those classrooms that open straight out into the front parking lot and street, it'll be a much more secure campus, which is what we need. And then the Lakeside Farms and Lakeview, the ESS buildings that we're purchasing with the ELOC money to put on those campuses. He's going out to bid May 13th for those. One caveat to that is in his talking with a lot of the construction companies, we were hoping, because we already have the buildings secured, so they're gonna be prefab basic buildings. And it's really the vendor to do the site work and the grading and all that stuff and put them down. There's DSA, inspections and stuff that have to go. There's so much construction going on over this summer that the vendors have said they probably won't even be able to get to it. And so the likelihood of it may begin this summer, but it's probably on those two campuses happening, and he'll work with the vendors over timeframes of the least impactful to the students in the school day in construction, but it may go through October 31st. So just FYI on that, we were hoping it could go this summer and be done. And why we can't push it to next summer is the purchase and the DSA approvals expire within 6 months if you haven't started something. So we've got some timelines going on there that these buildings have to have something done with them soon. So that's kind of a little bit of an industry, I guess it's a good thing that there's so much work that in schools that the contractors who generally do it are just too impacted with their commitments over the summer to do this, and it's a small job. They're gonna go after the much larger jobs and stuff. And if they go for a small, they may bid it at a much higher rate. So we'll see how those bids come in for that. Jared gave an update to me, said they already have over 500 students registered for ESS summer camp. That'll be at Lakeside Middle. He asked to let the board know that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they'll have 20 different rotations, and Tuesday, Thursday will be their field trip days, and the board is always welcome to come and visit. CNS, they are doing a wellness committee. Again, this is something for the board that if you want to go, along with the wellness committee, the child nutrition departments, they're hosting the first annual Race to Wellness at Lakeview Elementary on May 21st from 8:30 to 1. And it's gonna be really cool for the kids. They have a farmer's market that they're gonna have on-site fresh fruit and vegetables for the students to choose from. An oral health bus will be there checking teeth. And then several booths for the students to learn about health and fitness and of course nutrition. So, and the cooks will be there to document and photograph this event. And then lastly, for tech, Brian would like to recognize the support that tech teams provided to the school sites, and I think all of us would too, to help ensure the students were able to test without delay during tech testing. Is always a stressful time, especially with all the tech that's involved in it. So his team's been out there supporting all the staff, making sure that things are running as smoothly as possible. And we just give a shout out to the tech team for that. That's it.
Dr. Winspear?
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on some of Lisa's, which is the Race to Wellness at Lakeview is also happening in collaboration with our Health Services Department. So our Health Services Department, in collaboration with the Wellness Committee, is instrumental in putting that whole program together. And then with respect to CAST testing, what we've figured out works over the years is that we have an Ed Services staff and a technology staff going out together to sites to support CAST testing. That way, if there's a tech issue, we've got somebody there. If there's a login issue or an accommodations issue, we've got someone on staff for the first 2 or 3 days of testing, or a team, I should say, on staff for the first 2 or 3 days of testing to make sure that any issues that come up get resolved fast and immediately so our students can take the test and have a positive experience. So overall, CAST testing is going really well. It took a couple years after COVID because we had started with using technology to test, and then we didn't have the test for a few years. And so when we started giving the test again, it felt like, oh gosh, we forgot how to do this and what to do. So I feel like we have our CAST legs under us again. This year has been super smooth. Everybody has been prepared and knows what to do, so that's been nice. We had our 4th and final district-wide PLC day yesterday. It was super positive, very engaging. We worked with Math Transformations to prepare 3 really engaging activities for our teachers. So as we were walking around in classrooms and I was checking in with teachers at the end of the day, I was just hearing a lot of really positive comments. I even got a best district-wide PLC comment, which was awesome. We're also pretty much complete with LPAC testing. There is an alternate assessment for our students with special needs that has to be given one-on-one. So we are finishing up those one-on-one tests with our students with special needs, and then we will be done with LPAC testing. And then last but not least, as you know, and you'll be hearing a lot from me in June about the LCAP, we are in the process of writing a 3-year LCAP, but part of that is also closing out a 3-year LCAP. So I'm going to be submitting that to the County Office of Education tomorrow for a rigorous review. I've been working with the business office. It's not just about the goals and actions, it's about the money. So we always have a series of meetings in the spring where we come together and look at what are the goals and actions we need to do for our students, as well as what's the funding available and attaching the money to the actions. So I will be submitting that tomorrow. It's been a really energizing and reinforcing as I close out the 3-year LCAP to kind of have a chance to review all of our accomplishments, and I'm really excited to be able to do that with you next month. I'm always struck by how much we are able to accomplish in a small and focused district. The commitment of every staff member in our district to stay hyper-focused on what our students need when they need it, and to relentlessly serve our students and community every day, every week, every year is inspiring. So I've got a long list of things that we've accomplished, and it's just very reinforcing. So if you ever need some inspiration, I want to echo what Carrie Strong said. I would really love to see you guys out on school sites, seeing the programs that we talk to you guys about, so that you can see for yourself the superhero work that our teachers are doing every day in our district and for our students and families.
Taylor.
It's been a heavy night.
I anticipate you're gonna lighten it up.
I'm gonna lighten it up a lot. I wanna really, just really focus. I wanna close out tonight with just all of the amazing things we do for kids, and the reason why you are board members, and the reason why we are educators. The Lakeside Union School District has been a beacon of learning and growth for a century.
From the first bell in 1924 to the bustling hallways of today, every step through these doors has been a step towards the future. Over these 100 years, our dedicated teachers, supportive administrators, and caring staff have all shared one clear focus: our children. They've poured their hearts into every lesson, every challenge, every triumph, ensuring every child feels valued, supported, and inspired. And it's not just our school staff. Parents, local businesses, and neighbors, you've been the backbone of this journey, fostering a community that rises together, united by a common goal: what's best for our kids. As we celebrate this milestone, we're reminded that while much has changed, our core mission remains the same. It's this unwavering commitment that will guide us into the future. So here's to Lakeside Union, to the memories behind us, and the bright future ahead. Together, we're not just marking a century of excellence. We're committing to another 100 years of empowering our children, the heart of Lakeside. Let's continue this beautiful journey, nurturing the dreams of every child who walks through our doors.
Thanks to the Tucks for another amazing video.
They're the best.
It's been a really good partnership. Also, I just wanted to end with, yes, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and so I want to thank our teachers for all their hard work and their dedication to our students. Go home.
Okay, anything else? All right, we're adjourned. Ron, I have something I want to show you when you're done.
Lisa, for some reason CBS is still not on my calendar. It's not on my calendar. 10 o'clock here.
Yeah, it's an issue. Everybody else
Not
puts
that I
their
need
own.
more things on my
No, but I'm just
calendar.
telling you, every other school puts their own thing on.
They don't turn their events on, so then I can't go to the calendar. Yeah.
Some of them show up on
Some
there
of them do.
sometimes.
Yes. During the wintertime.
No, if I catch them on the bulletin, I put them on, but a lot of times they don't.
Thank you. Okay, I have a question for you.
They
So,
said, how do you get the bulletin? I get the bulletin, but it's.
and I wanted, I'd love you to come from me.
It just says, even IEP, I should show you. Well, I sent it to you on the upcoming events have the bulletins behind it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
We were saying.
All right, we'll put it on the list. Oh, I'll send it.
Yeah, it's a different name. Yeah. Send it to me. Oh, probably died.
I just want to make sure you're okay with the